Welcome to Mic-Minded People, the podcast with me, Phil Fokus. I'm a music artist with over 25 years of experience in the underground scene. But more importantly than that, I'm a huge fan of MCs. And in this podcast, I explore the fascinating world of MCs from all angles, the culture, the craft, the conversation. So if you share my love for MCs or you're curious and you want to find out more, you're in exactly the right place. Shout to my Mic-Minded People locked in. This episode, I'm joined by the man like Carasel. Now, this guy is a D&B monster. You will see his name on events up and down the country, dare I say around the world, flying the flag for D&B. But don't get it twisted. This man's heritage and back catalogue, it goes deep. Certified rapper, hip-hop artist, a man of many talents. So I'm looking forward to getting into this, hearing the stories, dissecting the career. Now, bruv, we bumped into each other in the summer. There was a festival in Cambridge and we were chatting backstage. And you said something to me that stuck, just a few words that stuck in my head. And I actually feel that this is almost your mission statement. You said to me, quite simply, different flows for different shows. So I would like you to kick things off by breaking that down and telling the Mic-Minded People listeners, what different flows for different shows means to you.
Yeah, man. I mean, first of all, thank you for the intro, brother. I appreciate that a lot, man. And yeah, different flows for different shows, copyrighted. Don't ever use it. It's a future album name, maybe. I don't know, bro. I've been saying that for many years. But it's just about, being adaptable, switching up your style, like being in different chambers, being able to work with different people and having different flows for different shows. Simple as it is, bruv. You know me. I work with a lot of different people all across the scene, and nobody really needs to tell me how to MC or you need to host this one out. You need to not spit. Like, it's different flow. We know what to do, bro. Like, let the music guide us, and it's different flows for different shows, and it also, it calls back to having a lot of bars. That's, in my opinion, that's what MC should have, a library of a flipping locker of bars and be ready to put different flows in different places, to be able to adapt to the music. And especially it's important to drum and bass.
Yeah. Bruv, I want you to give me some examples because I love, when I do this podcast, I love aiming it at the person who's maybe just stumbled across it. Maybe they don't even listen to the music that we make, or they're not even really that sure like what an MC does. So even just for me, like give me some examples of what the different shows are, the different styles, the different approaches, or how you would even describe to someone who maybe has never even heard you what the different flows sound like. Like any flavour you can add to what you just said would be sick.
Well, just like put my career into context, like I don't do it so much now, but I used to MC for hospitality a lot. I used to be on those sets for 3 hours, and that still happens sometimes when you go abroad. Being able to like break up those lyrics, to space them out, to learn how to pace yourself, and then like I've just done a tour in New Zealand with Logan D. Do you know what I mean? So it's like full jump up, spraying bars. I work with Born on Road a lot, so it's hyping different sections, picking your pockets because there's a lot of lyrics and vocals in all the tracks they play. Yeah, I mean, like, it's just different, jungle DJs, like trying to get in that chamber, not trying to overwhelm the music unless you have to, which does happen in drum and bass because some sets just require spraying. Do you know what I mean? Rolling it out with a DLR or the Source. Do you know what I mean? Where you just get to work differently, and that's the beauty of drum and bass, and that's why I love it so much. I mean, no disrespect to the guys that are locked in with one guy and one guy only, but to me, I'm most happy where I get to go out every single week and work with a different guy, a different vibe, a different, that's why I love being an MC over a DJ, really, because I think we just get to like incorporate ourselves into so many different rooms and spaces. It's sick. And also I think we get to like link up with so many more people in the scene and become friends with them as well, because we get to work with so many people, and it's a blessed thing. It really is.
Yeah, man, I genuinely get the energy and the vibe from you that you truly are passionate about all of this. You know, I've seen people, and I'm not even thinking of any one person in particular. Even look, I'll just talk about myself. Sometimes get an opportunity to work with a certain artist over a certain style or genre or subgenre of music, and it feels like a good move to make, but my heart isn't truly in it. And that's never worked out well for me, and I'm sure other artists can relate. Maybe you can relate as well. But I get the vibe and the energy from you is you genuinely do like all the styles.
Sometimes I definitely call some of the stuff work, and that comes back to different flows for different shows as well. Because
Okay.
sometimes you know you're working. You may not be vibing that much, but you know when you're on stage, you can add something to that set and make it better. And fundamentally, I'm there for the DJ. You know, I'm there to add that connection and boost everything up and add vibes. Like you know, if I'm not adding 1%, 2%. Everything has to go up, and you know, hopefully, I think that I add more than a small percentage, but everything has to be better because we're there. You know, if it's not, you're not doing your job. You know, we have to enhance the vibes, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're elevating. You're
Mm.
elevating, connecting, like you said, between the DJ and the crowd,
We have to add
elevating the
something.
vibe. Tell me a little. You mentioned that you've just been on tour in New Zealand. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so like long time coming, you know, there's been talks of it for years. You know, the Born on Road guys have tried to get me out there for all their tours, and it's not quite worked. And I ended up going on a Low Down Deep tour, which was like super random, but super amazing. Do you know what I mean? It was me, Logan D, Upgrade, Jay Buki, and his MC called Illa, and just had the best time, man. I mean, it really kind of opened my eyes to how important making tracks is in the game. Like making, because when I got there, they knew the bars from my tracks. Like, especially, it showed me the impact Born on Road have, because they knew so many like phrases that I do in their sets a lot. Um, and it just showed me how worldwide this music is, because I was getting responses and people chanting back my bars more than I do sometimes in the UK, which just blew my mind. Every place we went was just like the energy was mad and the love was mad, and they really do. Uh, Sometimes when you go abroad, you kind of, you can tell they don't, you know, the language barrier, or they're not quite getting the MCs like we would here. But in New Zealand, I found that they were really embracing it. They really loved it, and in fact, it just felt like they want more of that over there. So it was an amazing time and a wicked trip, and can't wait to go back there when the time's right. You know, it's not an easy thing for the promoters to do. I think, to book hosts, as it is in a lot of places. The DJs are at the forefront, and they, you know. But yeah, incredible, man, incredible. Yeah, big up the Low Down Deep gang, because that was a special time for me for sure. Definitely a highlight this year.
Yeah, sick, bro. There's so much you just said just then that I want to get into. I feel like I need to get in my own head as we're doing this like segment thing. So we're going to get more into the artistry,
Take notes.
the the artistry, the songs, the back cat. We're going to get into that maybe
Mm.
separately. What one thing
Sure.
you just said though about being on the other side of the world and connecting with people. How do you feel MC culture as a whole? Let's just talk about New Zealand and contrast it to the UK as an example. How do you feel that the New Zealand crowd kind of view MC culture, and is it different from the vibe that you get from the UK?
I was very surprised how well I was received, and like I said, people knew the bars, shouting them back to me. They knew them before I touched the mic. Like when I walked through the crowd, they were shouting at me. So that was like, I didn't expect that at all. I didn't expect that at all. So I thought it was amazing, but I saw a snapshot. You know, I'm playing at a low down deep rave, so the people coming there are obviously kind of more into that jump up sound. So I can't talk for the entire scene. We also went to a K Motion show, as just like he was in the same city we were. So I decided to pass through, like, let's check it out. And that blew me away as well, because that was in a fucking, oh bro, this huge hangar. Like the shows we were playing, I think the biggest cap was 1,000. The others were like 500, but the K Motion show was, I think, about 4,000. It was huge. This huge arena. I think it's called Trust Arena or something. I can't remember. Anyway, that was incredible. Like, that was incredible to see. Like, the amount of chicks in there was unbelievable, and just like, yeah, this huge warehouse, and K-Mo's headlining it and absolutely killing it. Didn't have an MC. So that was interesting to me. He even had IC3 on his intro track, introing him, which I found a bit weird. But I can't, as much as I would love to see IC there in the flesh, and I think it would have been better for it, I can't argue that the crowd are going crazy. They were loving him. He was like a superstar over there. It was great to see. Like, it kind of, I've got respect for K Motions anyway. I've MC'd for him quite a few times, but like, my respect level definitely went up because of what he did that night. And wow, like, he's selling out arenas. Do you know what I mean? So that was my only kind of dip into like seeing some other stuff in New Zealand outside of the Lowdown Deep tour. So it just showed me how big it is in New Zealand, really. And yeah, so I had the two sides, but yeah, I did that other night. I had no MC, so it's hard to say how they are. I feel like there's a hunger for it for sure. I mean, I get a lot of messages every time Born on Road go out there, man. My inbox is like flipping, going crazy, saying, "Am I coming? Am I coming?" So I know the appetite's there.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're no stranger to big crowds, are you? I feel like in the last couple of years, well, you tell me, but in the last couple of years, it seems to me, as a spectator of this, that, you know, especially since you've linked up with Born on Road, some of the crowds that you're playing to are huge. I know you've been going out to Rampage in Belgium for a while now, and that's obviously synonymous with like 10,000 people plus, I believe.
Yeah, man. I've done it for a few years. They seem to be kind of pulling back on the MCs as well. I hope
Yeah.
not.
What's
Yeah,
going on, man? Is something happening? Do you think? Is something in the water?
bro, do you know what I think it is? I think drum and bass is getting really big in America. I think the DJs are going over there and getting on the mic themselves in a lot of instances, and then that is kind of leading itself to that creeping back in over here. Rampage is one of the biggest shows with the biggest acts, and sometimes it's those biggest acts that are kind of leaning towards doing that now, because they're, used to touring places like maybe USA, New Zealand, and getting on the mic themselves, and then that just leads into it. It's not nice to see. I don't, I do think it erodes what we're doing, in a big way. But also, I respect that a DJ's set is their own set, and they can do whatever they want. Do you know what I mean? Fundamentally, if you think you're representing yourself better by doing that, then that's yours. That's your time. But yeah, I don't want to see it creep in as much as it is, because I just think it's kind of breaking down what I fell in love with this music for, and that was that live experience. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, sorry.
yeah, we just need to see where it goes, really.
Yeah, man. What you just said is, yeah, it's got me thinking. Like, what is driving that? Because I think, as you just said, the bottom line is people can do what they want, and it works both ways. If the MCs want to be at the forefront and push themselves as an artist, as people are doing and have been doing for a while, then that's sick as well. But yeah, people can do what they want, of course. Is it driven by artists? Is it driven by management? Is it driven by agents? Is it driven by demand from the raving public?
Yeah, I feel like maybe, no disrespect to any managers out there, but I think maybe that there is a bit of a push for that from them, because they maybe see some other people like Dimension or Subfocus doing it, so they think, okay, that's the lane we need to pursue. You don't need an MC like taking the shine or whatever like that, which, I feel like a good MC won't take the shine or elevate them, unless, like we say, it's different flows to different shows, and you are on a set that requires that shelling, and the DJ is on board with that. We always work together, but the aim is always to elevate the DJ. For me, like we are big in and bringing that vibe in the room. So yeah, I don't see why they necessarily wouldn't want that, but I think maybe it's a shine thing. I think a lot of managers and stuff are actually really massively pushing for their acts to do headline shows on their own, and that is part of this kind of erosion as well, because it's like, I get why they're doing it, but then you might not see the support put on until the last minute for those shows, because it's all got to be about the headliner, and the headliner, they don't want an MC listed or whatever, because that guy it's that guy and it's that guy only, and he sold out the show. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the game's just changing like that a little bit.
Do you think we run the risk of a certain demographic, like let's say like the, I don't know, like 18-year-old raver that goes to like the big headline show like we're sort of describing here, that they kind of grow up and go through their evolution of raving, not even seeing an MC on stage, and then just thinking they're probably not even thinking where's the MC, because they don't even know what an MC is. So do we run the risk of ravers not even knowing what an MC is or having that connection experience that we described? Could that happen?
Well, it's a double-edged sword, because I would say in terms of like MCs on tracks right now, we're in one of the strongest places we've ever been in my memory. You know what I mean? So they're still getting that, and they come with visuals and not so much music videos, but we're still seeing MCs a lot. We're seeing them in the tracks, in the music, and yeah, I think we're always going to know what they're about. But yeah, from a live setting, maybe I don't think we're there now. I think, man, like, you can't. We know vibes, bro. We know vibes, and we know the vibes are better when we're there. And if they think that it's not, cool. But like, I know vibes, man. I know the vibes are elevated. We're there. It can go off. It can't go off. Do you know what I mean?
It, mate. I might what you just said there. I might sample that. I know vibes, man. I like that.
No vibes.
That's it. Come on.
I'm a raver. I'm a raver.
Exactly.
I'm in the crowd, and I know where the vibes are at, man. And like each to their own, different flows for different shows, whatever you're into, bros. But I know what.
I think you're right, and I was almost playing devil's advocate, because I always bring it back to this, and you just said it. Like, I feel the most positive about MC culture, and certainly the role of the MC in drum and bass. Whilst there's all the things that we just talked about, which could be seen as sort of risky times or eroding the culture and stuff like that, I actually feel really positive about it, because you just said it. More MCs than ever are putting themselves down on tracks, carving out their own lane as an artist. And yeah, I just see, and I feel the energy behind it. I feel like the movement is strong. And as ever, as always happens, there's always a counterculture. If the big sort of more commercial end of the rave scene goes one way, that just strengthens the underground. And okay, sometimes you've got to have the resilience to stay with it whilst it's going through those little changes. But the underground, look, it's been here since how long? It's 2025, still here. Do you know what I mean? So that makes me feel happy.
And we talk about counterculture. It's like, man, I speak to people in the scene, and it feels like a lot of the MCs are kind of plotting their moves now, because they feel that this shift is kind of going on. But we're not going to go down without a fight, because we love this music. It's in our heart. It's our passion. I've dedicated 2 decades to it. We're not going to go anywhere without a scrap. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to go back to an office job. So we're going to fight for this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that may mean, people establishing their own nights, doing their own things. Or just setting up different channels, or like you see the Mike Mania thing that Bass Layers just set up, which was fucking awesome. Like, it's an awesome rave, and it shows, that there is still an appetite for it. So we just need to do it and represent it in the right way, and it will be good, man. It will be good.
Yeah, 100%, bruv. I'm with you on that. Sign me up, man. Enroll me.
Yeah, there's lots of pockets of good stuff going on, and we've got to concentrate on that, while being aware of the shifts and pushing against it, perhaps.
And also, it's not about it definitely is about having these conversations, but what it's not about is getting all negative and like defeatist about it. Like you just said, if the old way of things isn't working anymore, as in like MC works with DJ, that's cool. That still happens, but that is like 30 years plus old now. Okay, step up, do your own thing, start your own label, create your own album, your own music, your own live stream content, whatever it could be. Flipping hell, there's a million different things you could do if you're an MC right now listening to this. Get out there, keep active. But like you said, keep the passion there. There's nothing worse than like just losing the passion and going through the motions. You've got to keep connected to that passion.
This game is a roller coaster, man. Like any MC listening that's coming into this early or been in for a bit, bro, you're gonna have highs and lows. You're gonna link up with a sick DJ for a little bit, and that's going well, and then that'll be taken away from you, and it just happens, and it's up to
Hmm.
you to not like go, oh no, shit. You have to fight, bro. You have to fight. You have to get in the studio. You have to get in the lab. You have to go raving again when you're not booked. You have to make those contacts. If you want this, it's there for the taking, but it ain't easy. Not many people get a bring in, so you have to hustle. You have to
Yeah.
have your hustle.
Yeah, trust, bruv. That's inspiring, man. That's inspiring for me, let alone all the up and coming
Well, yeah.
MCs and the youngers. So yeah, big up.
Like nothing's assured, you know, and I'm
Yeah,
ready
yeah.
to hustle. I'm ready to hustle.
Yeah, you're a hustler, you're a grafter. I see that. And tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like you're the busiest you've ever been. Like I think I ever look at a flyer these days and you're not on it. Like you're busy, man. So like this, you are doing something right.
Don't tell my agent that. Yeah, I mean, like, there's always room for more, bro. And like, I think that shows the passion and hunger still in me because I still see flyers that I'm not on. I'm just like, what the fuck, you know? Like,
Yeah,
I want to be on everything, and you know, my agent, without going into too much detail, wants me to charge more than I'm charging. But I would much rather be out there every week. Like, I feel I'm in a blessed position that I'm just like. Some of my mates, you know, I don't get to see some of my mates that often anymore because the only time they get to go out is if they go to the football or go to the pub or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But we're blessed to get to go out to clubs every weekend, be
yeah, yeah.
around, like, it keeps us youthful, you know, we're still in tune to the music. We get a pass to like go out and while out at the weekends, and it's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, any conversation I have with, just kind of like shooting the shit with MCs and, who's busy, who's active, your name always comes up, bruv. Consistent, out there representing, flying the flag.
Yeah, well,
So
it's been
yeah.
a man. Like, trust me, like this is not overnight, and some MCs might get bought in with a DJ, and it happens quite quickly for them. But longevity is the key to this. What if you care about it? Depends whether you care about it or not, innit? I really care about this shit, so I don't want to not be part of the scene. Like, I want to be part on some level, and if I wasn't getting booked, I'd probably put more effort into the label or events. I think because it's just, this is my driving force.
Also,
Yeah.
one other thing I'm interested in, just because you were just saying like how lucky you are to be out every weekend, be active, be in the clubs. How do you, on a real life perspective? I know you're a family man, etc. How do you manage this? Because it's not easy, like being out. And look, you're way busier than I am, but I've probably been out the last 6-7 weekends on the bounce, and it catches up with you, man. Like the lack of sleep, the driving up and down the motorways or the airports and everything else. So how do you manage that?
Yeah, I mean it's difficult. Like, it's difficult. I think it's tough on the missus really because I'm away every weekend, so it's sometimes hard for her to take plans without going into too many details, with other family are not necessarily in a position to help so much with the little one at the moment. So it's difficult for her, man. And it's balancing that. If I have to go away to New Zealand for 2 to 3 weeks, that's a lot when you got a kid. So it's difficult, but yeah, I'm once again in a blessed position that because I do this for a living, yes, I'll be working and doing music and studio stuff in the week, but I am generally about in the week, which is a blessed thing. A lot of dads don't get to do that. So that it has two sides, whereas yeah, I might not be so present in some ways. I'm also more present than a lot of other people might get to be. And yeah, the lack of sleep thing. What can I say, bro? I mean, like 2 decades and we're used to this. Like it honestly, it doesn't. I think since I've had a kid 5 years ago, being up and sleepless nights kind of prepped for that. So we're just moving with it, bro. I mean, it's all good. It's all good. I feel energetic. I feel good, man. Like, keep the lack of sleep coming, bro. I love my weekends.
Oh, yeah, I'm interested in this. I asked AD about this, and I want to ask you as well. Like, what does a typical weekend look like for you in the sense that when you get, what I mean is on the sleep thing, when you get in from a club, can you just get into bed and go to sleep? Like how and how do you kind of catch up on your sleep? How does it look like? I'm just interested because I've really been struggling with this in the last few months, and yeah, I just
I
wondered
think
how.
I need a little wind down. It's if I've been driving to a show, and maybe if I have, well, I mean, if I'm driving from a show, it depends how far the drive is, but I always feel like I need a little minute to wind down. That might just be like checking my phone or do, I rarely jump straight in, but also if I'm driving, I tend to be more tired. If I'm not driving, I might be like lean or, just been out partying. So that's always difficult trying to get home and creep into bed with your missus, you know what I mean? Early hours and just go straight to sleep because they're sleeping. It's not always ideal. But yeah, I do tend to have a minute to wind down or check my phone or whatever like that. I can rarely just like get straight off. Also, just invest in some good blackout curtains and blinds, people, because you're going to be sleeping in the daytime, right?
Yeah,
Especially
man.
long trips, you might be getting in at 6, 7. Don't do that many more great graveyard shifts anymore. Really, I think that's like it's just. I mean, we're back in the clubs now, but it feels like even in the winter season, we're seeing a lot more day parties. It seems like the trend has changed from every rave going on till 6 in the morning, um, to everything happening a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it's that kind of post COVID landscape, isn't it? Almost, and
I'm all for it, bro. I'm all for it. I like raving in the day, and then you might get home at midnight. But on the flip side, you don't get to do so many where you might get a couple, or maybe even three in a night. That can't happen because this is not the hours. So yeah, maybe that's just me being greedy. Yeah.
no, I rate that. I rate that. It's all about the multiple bookings. It's
Mm.
proper. It's proper. Bruv, let's take it back a bit. Let's take it back a bit. So
Pull up.
pull up, yeah. I want to know about the precursor to Carasel, as in, where you grew up, when you first got into music and you discovered your love for rap and hip hop, or even just music in general. Like, tell me a bit about your formative years.
Yeah, so like I was born in Bristol, but I went to school. I moved to Worcester in the Midlands when I was just for the start of primary school, so about 4, because my folks he got my dad got a job up there and stuff. So yeah, I mean I was always a massive fan of hip hop in high school, but then I also remember like getting my first cassette. I tell you what, bro, my first ever hip hop. I think basically I had a tape. This is just remembering this now. I think my first ever tape, which I got at Christmas, possibly from Santa. Yeah, big up Santa. Your time soon. Um, WWF wrestling slam jam. Yeah, and it was like all the wrestlers rapping on it. Macho Randy Savage, all that kind of shit. The tape. And I used to rap along with that, and that was super young. I must have been like 6, 5, 6. So then from that, I remember like you used to get the compilations, like now compilations or something like that, and the hip hop tunes would stand out. And then from that, just like massive hip hop fan, massive Wu Tang fan, copying every single CD we could find. Like my mates at school, he'd buy that one, I'd buy that one, then we'd mini disc burn it or tape it off, and then just getting a crazy, crazy collection, really being into American hip hop, starting to like float into a bit of UK hip hop, but not really connecting, or just no, I enjoyed it, but like hip hop in America always seemed like on a massive scale, like these are fucking giants, these are heroes, and the UK hip hop guys are cool, but not quite really like seeing the power. And then that's why I think going to my first rave when last year at school I was 15, maybe 15, definitely shouldn't have been in there. Sanctuary, Milton Keynes, going there and seeing Fearless on the mic when I walked in and getting the reactions from the Sanctuary. I'm sure you went there back in the day.
Yeah, man.
2,000 people, 2,000 people chanting back Fearless's lyrics. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is insane. Like, this is crazy. These guys are from England, and they're like, because I used to be like mad hip hop junkie buying the DVDs. Like, yeah, I've like that's the only DVDs I've still got is all like live hip hop performances. So I used to be really into that, and obviously seeing the scale. But then to see UK MCs on that scale, arena, big arena. Everybody knew their bars. Everybody knew Fearless's bars. I was like, wow, this is like a moment for me, like light bulb, like because we used to MC at like parties and stuff at high school or whatever, and my friend DJ'd and we were into it. But the drum and bass side, even though my friends kind of play it to me in the Walkman, or we like listen to bits and bobs, it was cool, but I never really got it until I went there, and then I got it. Oh my god, this shit's incredible.
Bruv, yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. Do you remember what the rave was at the Sanctuary? Do you remember which one it was?
The first ever accelerated culture. So like when House, that's accelerated culture 1. I remember it well. Yeah,
was that like early 2000s? Maybe.
Yeah,
around about then.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Take back somewhat, but or the VHS. I think I'm on the VHS. Yeah, I shouldn't even say that. Don't find that. But it was just a massive moment for me because, we went there like we just done our GCSEs, so like we just broken up, and we went there to do Class A's, bro, for not the first time, but like that's why we're going. Do you know what I mean? It ain't to do with like I'm a big drum and bass fan. We're going to Helter Skelter, and we're gonna like get smashed, but then instantly getting in there, it wasn't about doing chemicals anymore. It was like, this shit's fucking, I'm a massive fan instantly. Like, who's that MC? I need to know more about him. Everybody knows his bars. Like, shit, this is like, and then who's this next guy that came out? But yeah, just a junkie on it from then, like, and what a broad, like, we're so blessed in drum and bass. Like, suddenly I had 20 to 30 MCs that I really wanted to dig into, all incredible in a way. Ragga flows, hyping, bars, like we just have so much, man. It makes me emotional talking about it, do you know what I mean? Because we have such a broad, crazy. It's crazy.
Bruv, I get it. 'Cause what you're describing there, your journey into this is really similar to mine. But look, we covered loads of ground there really quickly. So I do want to just go back a little bit and just hone in on a certain little few things along the way. So I didn't realize actually, well, I did only today because I was listening to your album, which we'll get onto, your second album, shall I say? And you talk about how you're actually born in Bristol. I just thought incorrectly that you were from Worcester and then you ended up in Bristol. So you're actually born there and then moved out. So I just want to dig a bit more into, the young kid that discovers rap music. I know you love Wu-Tang. You name check Wu-Tang a lot in your bars and mixtapes and tracks, and so that's no surprise to me. Who's your favourite Wu-Tang member? Well, actually, no. Who do you remember getting most excited about when you discovered Wu? I'm assuming that 36 Chambers was the entry point. Is that right?
Nah. First Wu-Tang album I had might have been Forever.
Okay.
And weirdly enough, I bought Forever, so that I think that came out in '98. And I'll tell you what, my first taste of Wu-Tang might have been like Funk Flex Volume 3, the final chapter. If you don't have that CD, it's flipping amazing.
Yeah, I've got it. I have literally got the CD.
It's just like every big MC freestyling on everybody else's beats, and it's fucking incredible, and I love that album. So that might have been my first taste of Wu. And then Forever was incredible, but I remember being kind of disappointed by it. So like I was hyped, and it was like a double CD package, and I was like, this is fucking cool. But what really, it was an enhanced CD, so you put it in your CD-ROM drive, and on that CD-ROM, you could look around the Wu Mansion and all this shit. But you go into the studio, there's a studio in the bottom of the Wu Mansion, and it had these 5-second, really shit bit rate, like terrible quality clips of 36 Chambers. And that was my first hearing of that. And it was like, wow, this shit's amazing. Like, better than Forever. And then, digging into that. And then from then I was just sold. But it's quite mad that Forever was the first one, and that's the first time I heard clips of the other thing, and then and then from that, just a junkie, bro. And which MC is my favorite? I would probably say Ghostface is probably the only MC in the game that I've bought every single one of his albums.
Oh, for
And
real, yeah. Okay.
he's got a lot. You know what I mean? Like he must be on nearly album 10 now. So
Wow.
all of them incredible in different ways. So
Yeah.
I would have to say Ghost is probably my favorite MC, but then like yeah, they're all good in different ways, man.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan
It's
of it.
it's impossible to answer, isn't it? I almost go through phases, and I haven't really listened to Wu for a while now. But I started off on Method Man. I remember my brother took me to Tower Records in Oxford Circus for my birthday, and there was a guy at school who was like really plugged into the American hip hop scene. Big up Chris
Yeah,
Foster, by the way. And
yeah.
and he was like, yo, yo, yo. We'd see him after school. He'd be like, yo, there's this new Method Man, Method Man. I'm thinking, okay, Method Man, okay. Anyway, saw it in Tower Records, the Takal album. And yeah, it was something so different about it, quite dark and sinister, and his voice. And I was just like, wow, like so like mysticism, there's an air of mysticism around it. And it
Yeah.
just really gripped me. So I
Meth is an absolute beast, and you could say, maybe a better MC than Ghost, or like his voice is more standout. But then when it comes to MCs, a lot of time I think about longevity, albums,
mm,
and you can't rank Meth over Ghost because Ghost has so many more projects, in my
yeah.
opinion. And is like Takao, very good, but it's not Iron Man. And
Yeah.
Judgment
And
Day 2 is good, but like, he ain't got the albums, does he? Do you know what I mean? And his
I totally
features.
agree. And do you know the funny thing is, I think you're bang on money there. Like actually, and I find this with a lot of my MCs. Maybe we'll talk about this as well. But I don't. I would probably say Meth is my favourite style, flow, voice.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, like his albums are pretty. Like even to Cal, listen back. Like when I last listened back, and I was like, this ain't really like a. It's not really a legendary album. It's got like
There's
six,
a,
in my
there's a
opinion,
story.
six legendary tracks.
I don't know if you've ever heard, but with that album, the beats got lost in the flood. A lot of it was,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
and because he was signed to Def Jam, like he was the next one to go, they had to pull it together very quickly
Okay.
with like bits and bobs. So it was quite a rush job on not
Right,
what it
right.
originally be. So that's interesting.
Yeah, there's a few fillers on there. Then there's the second album. Was it Judgment Day? I wasn't
Yeah, which
massively
I love.
feeling that. And
I love those albums. I love both of them, but they ain't. They ain't.
it's funny how tastes change, isn't it? Because when Cuban Links first came out, it went
Yeah,
over my head a little bit. There's certain tracks like Ice Cream, Wu Gambinos that you kind of like catch straight away. But I'd say only listening to it within the last year, I've really fully understood actually that
that's
yeah, boom,
incredible.
this is a
I think that's
classic
my
album,
favorite.
like way
Yeah,
above the rest.
Cuban Links is maybe better than any of Ghost albums. Like, I love that album, and Jizz the Liquid Swords might be the best
Yeah,
solo album of them all. But then you can't say he's the best MC because of the
no,
catalog.
no, no.
It's
Exactly,
just
exactly. It's a
so.
bait question. It's a bait question. But Cuban Links is really it's Raekwon and Ghost
Mm,
as a duo, isn't it? I know it's Ray's album, but really like they both feature nearly on every single track, give or take.
yeah, it's a special project. And yeah, talking about legacy, it's like MCs out there listening, you don't have to, but strongly consider trying to make an album or a project because that's going to be here when you're gone. Do you know what I mean? This is what conversations that we're having now is all about because we're looking about who do you rate the most? Who's the best MC? What have they done apart from
hmm
shelling raves? What is there extra layers to them? Like this is not just a like stand up on stage and shell thing. That's cool, but I like to see things with a bit more layers. What have they done? What have they contributed? And that's why I'm very conscious of that and know that I want to and need to do more.
Yeah, bruv, I feel you, man. I feel like you're actually talking to me there in a way because like by what I mean by that is you're reading my mind. You're reading my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I feel conscious about it. Like I've had a good year, but I haven't done enough studio. So I'm like,
Mm.
I know that I have not got enough. Like I just need to be doing more. I know my strengths and weaknesses, and I know that I want to do more studio shit. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's important to me. Like it's and it should. I feel it should be important to other MCs as well. I
yeah,
feel like you want to like doing raves is amazing and it's cool. And yes, it probably is where you're going to get the main source of your income. But trust me when I say this, and we spoke about New Zealand earlier, those tunes are what are gonna they're touching people and affecting people in continents that you can't even imagine. Like that is your voice reaching out there. So yeah, man, if you're like make that tune today, we're just like right guys, you know, like you need to do it, and I need to listen to my own advice sometimes because I'm far from perfect, and I feel like what like on wax and on tunes I have a lot more to offer. I haven't, you know, I'm sure we'll talk about my hip hop albums, but I haven't. I'm very proud of those albums, but I know I haven't done that in drum and bass. Made a tune
mm,
that's really rang off, you know. So
yeah,
I'm still trying to find that.
yeah. Don't you worry, bruv. We're gonna get into the hip hop albums and more. But okay, we're on the timeline journey at the moment. So we talked a bit about we sort of geeked out a bit with Wu Tang. But yeah, so did you start rapping like before? So before you walked through the doors of the Sanctuary and heard Fearless, were you already rapping by that point?
Definitely, yeah. So I was hip hop. I was in it. Um, and yeah, we had parties and used to plug in the mic and freestyle and spit bars. I was a massive fan. Yeah, I think as soon as you're like really tapped into hip hop and you're a fan of it, you probably are going to try it, right? Most people will try it and decide whether they're good or not. And for us, we just did it a couple of times. Me and my boys, hip hop, and the girls liked it, the guys liked it. They asked us to do it more, and then it just snowballs. And then to be honest, you know, we put on our first event before, probably before I went to Sanctuary, interestingly enough. So that kind of messes the timeline up a little bit. But we definitely put on an event, you know, like there was an event called Ambush that we did while I was still at school. But I was just, no, to be sorry, like, excuse me for just kind of like think about it in my head because it's a long time ago now. But the first ambushes I wasn't booked for. So it was like just about 16. We were definitely too young to be in the pubs that we were putting on the events at. And I also desperately wanted to be part of that crew. So it was my boy Phantom, who was like 2 years older than me at school, lived up the road from me. And I was just like, they were putting on events. So what was your original question? Because my head just went like
No,
somewhere
no,
else.
there's no real question. I'm enjoying kind of walking along the timeline. So Ambush
Yeah,
was
yeah,
actually
no.
started. I just always assumed that Ambush was started by you. So it's something that already
Yeah,
existed in Worcester.
so the founder of Ambush is my boy Phantom Jammer.
Soon, okay.
Yeah, he was 2 years older than me at school, and he started the event at a
In
pub
Worcester.
in
So it's a
Worcester,
Worcester thing. Yeah, okay, okay.
Worcester thing, and we really yeah, just it used to be hip hop, and then the last hour used to be drum and bass. So did that happen before Sanctuary or not? I'm trying to think about that. Maybe it happened just after. Because, like, yes, we did used to get in pubs and stuff when I was 15, but I'm thinking more like I was 16, you know, maybe just started college or whatever. But anyway,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah. So you're rapping, you're spitting. Do you think there was by this point you've been on a drum and bass set, a jungle set?
no, no, not really, not at school. My
Okay.
first taste was probably Sanctuary and also the ambush nights, seeing it for the last hour. And I wouldn't be on the mic. Like my boy Kadan, and he still spits now. Um, and there was another MC called Fire and Ollie B, and I used to like they MC'd, and I might have hustled onto the mic to do one bar. Do you know what I mean? I might have
Yeah,
like
yeah.
blagged in for one because it was that kind of vibe. Do you know what I mean? There's 1 hour at the end of the night, and there was a couple of ambushes, and I think to get involved, to get proper involved, I think I like designed the poster in my graphics class and put myself on the flyer or some shit because I was just hungry to be in it, you know. And yeah, that's how I kind of got into the ambush fam, and then you know we're still brothers now, and I just took that name forward. You know, we started doing nights, we started putting on bigger events. Worcester was always fucked, really. Do you know what I mean? The clubs wouldn't let us in. We couldn't really get anywhere. We never, like, I think there's a few things going on in Worcester now, but back then no one was going to let us play. You know, we did a couple of pubs, but that place now is a lot different to when I was growing up. The options and opportunities were very limited. That's why I was like keen to move back to Bristol, the first possible opportunity.
So when you were in Worcester, were you able to tap into like the rest of the Midlands scene at all? Was there much going on the fringes of Worcester, other cities, other towns?
Yeah, so as Ambush, we started, so like after doing a few events, we were kind of Ambush crew, Ambush family, and we started getting a few shows collectively in different spots, Midlands. I remember playing for Mark Dysfunction, who's just booked me for his Christmas party. Actually, he said big up Dysfunction. He used to do stuff in Leicester, so our first ever out of town set was in Leicester. And for us to get a booking out of town was a big deal. So like I'm talking, it would be me, Phantom, and my boy K-Dan and Fire on the mic. So it was like a little crew set or whatever. We rolled up, I think we took about fucking 8 cars full, all to this place in Leicester. Like we rolled deep and we turned up, and it's a club called the Attic. And I don't know if you've ever played at the Attic in Leicester. I don't know if it still exists. This is a 50 capacity club. It's tiny. It's like a shoebox. Like I've never even seen anything like it. So in our heads, we're hyping it. Oh, we're going our first set away. It's going to be big. We're going to nail it. We get there. It's tiny. We fill the whole room with our people. And because I think, you know, Mark Dysfunction saw how many people we bought, he's like, okay, right, I'm putting these guys on every event. So we did that, and started playing in Leicester quite regularly, and that branched out. And then shit, man, I'm just picking up K-Dan, but back in the day, it was always me and another MC called Sinner. So Carasel and Sinner. We were like a back-to-back pairing, so we used to start getting bookings like quite a few places, Nuneaton, Northampton. It was all kind of Midlands for a while.
Yeah.
And then when you move to Bristol, then you kind of centre around those areas.
Okay.
But yeah, interesting history, man. Like it's crazy because I haven't spoke about this stuff for a while, and it's nice to like think about it again.
Yeah, bro, absolutely. And I don't know any of this stuff, so I'm hearing it for the first time. So around this era, was there much going on around the way in terms of like pirate radio or any type of radio, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so yeah, man, we actually we used to go up to District FM in Wolverhampton sometimes, and as a result of that, we bought a transmitter off them, and we actually brought it back to Worcester and tried to set up our own radio station for a while,
Come on.
which didn't really work out, but we tried. We tried. So yeah, we did our own pirate, yeah, Ambush FM. I don't know if we even gave it a proper name because we had the transmitter. We set it up a few times, getting the frequency. I mean, District FM was like sold it to us, so it might have been like damaged already or something. There's a reason why they're selling it, but we were young kids and we were like, yeah, we'll buy it, man, rags. So we tried to set up our own thing. Never really took off, but yeah, we did that. Yeah, man.
And is this am I getting it correct that Ambush is still that mix of hip hop and D&B? So you were doing both?
Yeah, so like Ambush, when we moved to Bristol, it was Ambush, and we actually started doing a residency in a club called Timbuktu. And the first Ambush we did was on a Monday. We had Jumping Jack Frost and Palmer the Charmer on a Monday.
What? Palmer the Charmer? Wow.
So
that's a combination, man.
Yeah, basically, but Bristol was so popping when I moved to Bristol that it's not like now where you get big shows, but there used to be constant small shows. Like every day of the week, there'd be something. Like when I moved to Bristol, every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you can go and see drum bass every single day without fail. You had Run on a Tuesday, every Tuesday sold out. We eventually started doing nights on a Wednesday in Timbuktu. So like Run would have massive headliners, then we would have someone small on Wednesday, and it was hard because everybody'd go out on a Tuesday, but we'd keep doing it anyway. But our first night, that because the club like to give you a trial, do a Monday, we were like, okay, we did it anyway. Did Jumping Jack Frost and Palmer Charmer. Someone brought a gun to the rave and flipping pulled it out outside the door. Like, for some reason, he didn't get let in or something. Pulled a strap out and then got arrested. Some fucking idiot, like, basically pulled a strap out and then didn't leave, like, was just going on super aggy or crazy. So that was mad. But as a result of that, the club owners, he wasn't like, you can't do nights, because the night was quite good, especially for a Monday. He was like, you can't call it ambush, because you can carry on, but you can't call it ambush because your name attracts guns and violence and trouble. And obviously, like, we didn't even know the guy. We just moved to Bristol. So that happened. We had to change our name after that because we kind of went along with it. And we changed our name to Ricochet. And that went on for...
Do you know, the ironic thing is, though, right? Bloody hell, like, if there's a word that's more associated with guns and stuff, like ricochet.
It's mad, bro. It's mad.
Do you know what I mean? That's funny.
It's mad to think about it. So yeah, we did Wednesday for a run there, and that kind of eroded the ambush name, unfortunately. Okay. And then AFT Records is my label. Stands for Ambush Family Tree. So it's an expansion of that. So still alive a little bit, but yeah.
So how old were you? Do you think roughly when you decided to move out of Worcester? Come back to Bristol, and so how old were you? What era was this, and who made the move with you?
Mentally, I probably moved out of Worcester when I was like at school still. This
checked out.
You start just understanding the restrictions of a city that won't, there's only 2 clubs, and you can't. No one was letting us do events, even though that's all we wanted, and it was good for the local kids. It gave them something to be into. But no one would let us do it, and you could just see the restrictions, and it's so difficult for anybody living in a city like that if you're not allowed to kind of be artistic, or like these events would bring a collective of people together, young people on a every other month basis. It's so important, so cool. So good to get together with a shared interest, and that's what raves still are. So yeah, I was always keen. I was born in Bristol anyway. Like, I support Bristol Rovers. I still was going back to watch football with my dad, and we, were very tapped in. When I first started going raving after the Sanctuary thing, and I started going more places, I would come down to Bristol quite a lot for drive-bys, and like they booked quite a few Wu-Tang members, so you'd get the hip-hop and the drum and bass in the same raves, and same for Infidelity. So we used to come down to those nights a lot, and Bristol was just always mad energy. So it was always very clear, being born there as well, that I was going to go back to the roots. Like that place was cool. Yeah. I haven't left since, and I love it here, man. It's a very special place.
So your family stayed put in Worcester. It wasn't like a family move. It's like you and a couple of your boys decided to.
Yeah, my folks are still there.
Yeah. And what's this, like early 2000s, you reckon?
Yeah, well, I went to uni when I was like 18, 19.
Okay. Yeah. What about grime? Has grime ever? Are you a grime fan? Because I'm just thinking in my head in terms of timelines, like 2002, 2003 is what sort of garage is turning into grime, and Wiley and Dizzy are popping up, and Roll D performing at the back end of Pay As You Go Cartel, etc. Were you into all that? Did that play? Is that a thread in your tapestry?
I would say that I was a tape pack junkie. Yeah, so when I lived in Worcester, I used to sell tape packs out of my Metro. Like, used to go to the pubs with a boot full of tape packs. Yeah, I used to do that because I found some guy on eBay, and he used to sell a fucking massive box of them. He must have been a distributor or something. I don't know, but I would buy these huge boxes of tape packs off him, brand new, sealed, and I would just sell them. But I was a tape pack junkie anyway. I would buy them anyway, listen to tapes all the time, and grime, Sidewinder packs, grime packs. I used to be into all of it massively. It was the same vibes. I loved it, and I loved the Garage Nation packs. I used to sell loads of those, and the Garage Nation packs used to be sick because they used to have about 4 hip hop tapes in them. They'd have the R&B room and the garage room, and they still had like, some of the Garage Nation 12 packs that had the early Pay As You Go tapes. Flipping out. Love to hear those again. They're amazing. They were one of my big sellers. I used to be really into it, and hustled the tape packs out of my boot because I'd listen to them.
Shot in tapes at the back of a mini metro, man. Come on.
Yeah, bro, I've got bars about it. You know, used to sell tape packs out of the metro. Now we destroy Beats 170 tempo. But another big seller, X-Con to Icon. You ever seen that tape pack? You know about that tape pack?
Yeah, I've heard, bro. I've heard of it, but I can't think of the artist. Who?
It's the rave when Bassman came out of jail. It was his first
Ah,
X-Con to Icon at the Sanctuary.
of course.
On the back of the tape pack, it's got like a Nelson Mandela quote. Oh, bro, it's too much. Rocky tape.
Have you still got that? Have you got the tape pack?
One of them somewhere, yeah, for sure.
Oh, I bet that's
It's the Brocky
yeah.
tape. Rocky tapes, I believe. Yeah.
I bet that's these tape packs are worth some p, man. Like back in a couple of years back, I got on a bit of a nostalgia mission and was spending like 70, 80, 100 quid on like rose tape packs, and yeah, I love it, man. Something special about knowing that obviously all the sets are on YouTube anyway, really, but having the tape and then going to their time and effort of recording the tape onto your laptop and having it as a digital file, there's something I find really enjoyable about doing that. Quite satisfying.
And just on a level, like we really miss that as MC. You think about why do we know so many bars of the MCs, and now the tape packs. And we as MCs coming through, those tape packs went to CD packs, and then they're kind of done. And I think when I actually started getting decent bookings, tape packs were done, and I think that's a massive shame as to why people might not know bars and stuff as much as we do with the kind of old OGs. It's a shame. Like people talk about DJs didn't like tape packs so much, but for MCs, what a flipping amazing thing it was.
Yeah.
Like to have people listening to your sets back like that, so sick.
It's the advertising, wasn't it? It was the marketing. I was listening to some interviews the other day with I think Mickey Finn was talking about it, maybe Groove Rider.
Yeah,
but yeah, because I always wondered, like, did anyone ever get any money for the tapes? And obviously, from what they were saying, that the promoters were making p from selling the tapes of the live recordings. But then I think it was Mickey Finn. I stand corrected if not, but he was kind of saying that we had to make a point of saying you need to cut us in on this. Do you know what I mean? And it's an interesting one, isn't it? I did used to wonder.
Interesting thing, because they were like, I think their kind of take on it was like they're playing our records, our tunes. But I'm like, well, you heard those tapes and then you heard those tunes and you buy the tunes. So it's
the ultimate underground marketing direct to the consumer.
Yeah, like it's
the tapes would travel the world, you know.
I can only see it as being positive. I can understand why if somebody's making money, they want to cut in. But to be honest, like in my view. And if promoters did it now, I'd say it's cool because the promoter are putting up their money to risk for the rave, and if they want to get out their recordings, I mean, it's a bit different now because some of the recordings are just not on point or whatever. So you need to kind of make sure that everything's on point. But I just think tape packs are such a blessed thing, and I think a lot of people would not have got into the music if it wasn't for them. And maybe that's what we're missing in MC culture as well, is not hearing so much back to learn and be passionate about those bars and kind of get into them. Maybe.
Yeah, and it was obviously it literally was a different era, wasn't it? Because if you're listening to a One Nation tape with Skibber and Shabba, you were in it, you were listening to it, but it wasn't up there uploaded on YouTube for everyone to comment about. It was just something that you listened to and enjoyed and passed around and got excited about.
On it now is if a set goes up on a stream, the first comment is going to be like, turn the fucking mic off or turn this guy off. And I think that's really damaging. And I think promoters and people uploading the stream should, I'm not up for censorship. People should be able to say what they want pretty much. But if it's productive, if it's just turn off the mic, these people have probably only listened to the first 5 minutes of the 1 minute of the set, and they've seen there's an MC on the set and they've said turn it off without even taking the whole set. And then nobody's going to put a comment on YouTube after listening to the whole set and then go back. They're going to write it mid-set or when they're on it. And I just think you know, if it's not constructive criticism, it should be swiped, because I think anybody watching the set, if the top comment is turn the MC off or the MC shit, that is gonna affect the person watching it to a degree. You know, they're gonna say, well, that guy thinks it's shit. Is it shit? Like, it puts something in their head, and I don't think it's a welcome thing. And you know, also a lot of these DJs are super. They don't want any negative stuff on their page.
Hmm.
So if you're MCing for a DJ and they read that the MC shit, even if they don't think he's shit, that is going to make them think, okay, well, maybe we don't want the MC there because we don't want these negative comments. We don't want these negative things. When it's, man, I always host for the crowd in front of me.
Yeah,
Okay, so
that's it.
I'm about the rave as
Yep.
it is there in front of me. Those people, I want them to have the best time, and I want to do the job there. I don't want to think about recording and how this is playing back after. And they're two
No.
different things. They're two completely different things. And it's sad to me that they merge now. And, you know, I I know what the crowd need in that moment. Yeah.
Yep.
And but then when you listen back, you don't want hands in the air or make some noise, because
Yep.
it's irrelevant to you listening at home, right? But
Bruv,
yeah,
100%, man. You hit the nail on the head. What sounds good in the rave, in the moment for the crowd, doesn't always translate to the at-home armchair listener. But as MCs, like, we know the score. Like, you don't MC for the recording. It's not for the home listener. You're there to catch the vibe. Like, going back to the beginning of the conversation, you're there to elevate, to connect. You ain't standing there thinking about, oh, like, is this going to sound good for the armchair
man,
listener? Fuck that. It
it,
can't be that.
it does get in your head sometimes. It definitely
Yeah,
does for me.
definitely. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
When you MC at somewhere like Rampage, and or somewhere that you know it's going to be a huge set online, it's very hard
Hmm.
not to adjust your thing. Or like when I was with Soto at Reading Festival, you know, it's going on the BBC. Like, you obviously need to think about these things, but I don't like the way I think promoters have a responsibility to clean up the comments, because it is not constructive to the scene as a whole. They know that that's not right. People are going to hate, but if it's not constructive, I don't think it should remain. You know, I don't think it's helping the scene. I don't think it's helping MCs as a whole. If people, these people that comment turn the mic off, they probably commented that on probably about 20 videos prior. It's like, it's just a thing, and I don't think it should be left to stay, really. Like,
It's not
I'm not into
constructive.
shit.
It's not constructive. But then, like, to play devil's advocate, how do you even go about policing that? Taking off YouTube comments that don't.
Bro,
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
it's not hard for the promoter to do, and I think some events are already doing that.
Yeah.
Um, I think, like, I don't really want to be the guy to be like, you can't put up my set, because I don't want people, like, if people don't like
Mm.
me, that's cool. Like, if people think I've done a shit job, that's cool. But say it in a constructive way, or just offer some, like, why is it shit? Like, what? Because I don't believe these comments are thinking of any shit. They just don't like MCs, or they don't want to
Yeah.
hear that moment. So I think that constructiveness is important, man.
It's hard for me to almost relate to the mindset of the person that just wants to cuss the MC and
Crazy,
say all
right?
that
Like, you
stuff,
can't
because
imagine. Can you
back
imagine?
in the day, like, I'll be honest with you, maybe you were the same. Like, I was going through the tape packs for the MCs. Like, the DJ to me at that point was not irrelevant, because I had my fate. You know, I would go to the Brocky and the Randall tape, for instance. But I wanted to hear which one's got Stevie Hyper on, which
Yeah,
one's got bass and trigger, which one's got Navi, got Skipper Shap. Like, the music obviously was there, and I gravitated towards certain sounds. But only as I got older did I get more into the music. Initially, I just wanted the MCs. And
right.
okay, like, I didn't like that MC as much, but I'm not going to start cussing him. I look up to these people. They're all characters and they're all inspiring
I'm not saying
performers.
you used to cuss certain mic men, but like, it wasn't such a public forum, was it? It was, you did it
Yeah, true say. Yeah.
between humans, and now I think what people got to understand is when you throw that negative shade on YouTube comments, you can really affect somebody's career, man.
Mm.
You can literally stop the DJ wanting to have an MC, wanting to work with that particular guy, and I know the set was fire. We were
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
We were there. It went
Exactly.
off. People were buzzing. Do you know what I mean? And like, just because this one guy doesn't like it, it's like, bro, like, anyway,
Yeah.
man,
Bruv, like you said earlier, I think I'm quoting you correctly. We know vibes.
no vibes, man.
We'll bring it back to that. On the tape pack thing, one thing I definitely, whilst I did appreciate it to a degree when I was younger, I just loved, just fucking loved it all. But what I realised at some point more recently is that like you listen to like a skipper tape and you almost forget that he's on stage on a busy rave, probably surrounded by the dancers they used to have dancing next to him, all these people in a massive crowd, maybe a couple of thousand people in a big rave, and you can't, I used to overlook that because he sounds so crisp and clear, and it's almost like wow, I didn't appreciate it as much when I was a younger raver. Like just how amazing all these MCs sound live at their sets, at their shows, and you almost just took it for granted. And I listen back now and think, fuck me, like he's at a rave. There's a lot going on around him. I'm singling out Skibber, but it could apply to a lot of the sort of OGs as
Yeah,
well. But
I think tape packs was such a big deal back then that maybe they worked a bit harder on the recordings as well.
mm,
It's like, yeah, you know, if you're getting a Helter Scale accelerated culture pack, it's big money, yeah, it's big business. So
yeah, yeah,
they're gonna record that nice. They're gonna get the mic sounding nice, and yeah. But yeah, I had enough tapes where it sounded shocking or the mic was too low too. You know, it
yeah.
happens.
True say. All right, so where do I want to go next? So you've moved back to Bristol, and you've talked a bit about stepping into raves and hearing Fearless and being inspired by him and connecting the dots between what the UK does. You've got the rap thing going on in the US and the UK, but then the UK jungle D&B MCs have really inspired you, this mix of different, the sound system influence, the rap influence, the double time. Who, do you have any memories of hearing other MCs and them having a big impact on you? Like throw some other names out there that really inspired you as you were getting deeper into the D&B thing.
It's really difficult because I honestly love so many MCs in this game and what they bring and the different styles and patterns. Like I do, I think Fearless was a big one for me
Mm-hmm.
early on because that was my first like wow moment, and he really commanded the rave. But bro, like from that moment that I first went out, I would be out regular, you know. Like we would start. I would suddenly. I was so in it from that moment, and I would really like go out all the time. You know what I mean? Weekly, whenever I could, we could afford it, or you know, whenever I could get the rest of the gang to actually come or whatever, you know. So yeah, man. What other MCs like? It's more like who didn't I rate? Do you know
Mm.
what I mean?
I'll
But
tell you what, let me rephrase the question. Was there a particular person that you met or like helped along the way that almost you connected with on a more personal level? So right, they're not just a voice on a tape pack or someone on the stage that like that you're not, you know, that's just a stranger to you. There's someone that became a bit more of a closer connection.
Well, the first MC to bring me in was Juice Man, you
Oh,
know,
for
and
real? Yeah.
I always pay maximum respect for him. Yeah, because he was like he was one of those guys when we went into the Midland, he would bring me in on a set, you know, on one of his sets, or and then we started linking up and doing a few bits, and we brought him down to Worcester, and you know, stayed at my
Sick.
boy's yard and stuff, and it like yeah, so I always give him his flowers for that. And you know, he was one of the first MCs to truly say, you know, you're sick. Do you know what I mean? Like you need
Wicked.
to you need to pursue this. And then you know, he stands out. But then I've always had a lot of, you know, I think progression. My second album, I was still young in the game when I did that, and everybody I reached out for features came back. You know, so I've always had that. There's definitely a good DIY sense in drum and bass. That is, if you are doing something good and you reach out to them, they will
Hmm.
back and help. I think, and I try and do the same for MCs now. If they want advice or they need something from me, I will try and do that because it was definitely given to me when I was younger. you know, by the people that I looked up to. Not everyone, obviously, you know, and you have to have a thick skin and deal with setbacks. But yeah, man, yeah, I definitely felt that the doors were not never closed. You know, it was hard coming up, but it was
But
there. If
there's opportunities.
yeah, man, and there's less opportunities now for youngers. I would say there's not the room fours and up and coming rooms that there used to be, and
Mm.
it's a real shame.
So you're doing your thing in Bristol. At what point do you think you possibly stood back and thought, okay, right, this is moving now. Like things are starting to happen, and that you
Yeah,
build in this traction.
I think it's pre-Bristol. So like we talk about, you know, we started getting bookings at a time when I lived in Worcester. When I moved to Bristol, I was already like I'd already won the MC competition for Drum and Bass Arena. I won a comp. I don't know if you remember it, but you had to go and you might have entered it, bro. You had to spit bars down the phone. You had to leave a phone message. This is Drum and Bass Arena, and you had to leave. You had to spit down a phone, and X-Man was the judge, and
Wow.
yeah, I won that competition, and I won a set at the end, and that was all before I moved to Bristol. So I was already like
Okay.
doing a few bits and bobs, and you know, and also we were doing events when I moved to Bristol. The first we put on a rave straight away. Like, bro, I was never going to Bristol to uni. I was going there to drum my bass and make it in the scene, which is why I never finished my first year at uni, and I did it twice. You know, I was out all the time. You know, like we were promoting raves. The first rave when we moved to Bristol, we did that little thing with Frost and whatever, but we did a big ambush at the Trinity. We had Randall, Bassman, what Shadow Demon Coalition, like
Wow.
all
It's
that
a
was
big venue as well.
yeah, we went in, bro, and that was my arrival at Bristol. It was all part of the plan. Do you know what I mean? Like I was already bubbling in Worcester, and I think I took a year out. So like I might have started uni a little bit later. Maybe I was 19 and maybe 20, just about to be 20, and that was me arriving in Bristol. Like we put on this big rave, and yeah, Randall, rest in peace. He one of my favorite Randall memories is when I moved to Bristol. I think because he was our headliner, and he's like probably thinking, oh, these guys don't really know what they're doing in Bristol or whatever. They're coming here, they're like doing a big show. I don't want it to be shit, so like let me speak to this guy because I think I booked him personally. I must have got his phone number off somebody. Anyway, Randall picks me up. He says, "Look, I'm going to show you all the poster spots." So he comes around my yard, picks me up, drives me all around Bristol. Says you got to put posters up here, here, here. This is all the spots that you got to promote at. Yeah, and then Randall comes back to my student halls because I was in student halls. I had like a little shoebox room. Randall comes in and he's telling me, you know, you got to buy a Dutchy pot to do cooking here. You know, like and then he like is checking out my DVDs, and he basically saw that I had a Scarface DVD, and he borrowed that off me. And I remember I never got that DVD back. And I was like, every time I saw Randall, I'd always joke with him. I was like, "Where's my Scarface DVD, man?" And then one day, maybe like 2 years later, he gave me back the Scarface DVD, yeah. And it was a double disc set. One set was DVD of the film, and the other set was like a documentary, a hip hop documentary of all rappers talking about why they love Scarface. But he gave me back, and the DVD case was fucked, and one of the discs was gone. But anyway, the point is, Randall is a true G, and as a young kid moving to Bristol, he picked me up, scooped me up, drove me around, came back to my yard, showed a lot of love, and just went above and beyond. And do you know what I mean? Like, and that's my G since then. You know, like never
Yeah,
missed.
man. That's heartwarming to hear, brother. Just imagine you like bringing Randall into your student
In halls, yeah,
halls.
crazy, bro.
Everyone's thinking, "Fuck, is that Randall?" Almost
Yeah.
doing a double take.
Yeah, like yeah, my halls are funny, man. Like, but yeah, just mad to think that you know, he'd get down on the ground level and really do that and help out with that first event. So yeah,
So when do you reckon that everything was popping for you to that level where you were able to, to make this a full-time thing?
Difficult to say, man, because I quit my job a few times to like do it full time, and then it didn't really work. Well, maybe the finances weren't quite there that I thought I had to. I think I quit my job twice. I've always had job ever since I was like 15. Maybe I think I had my first job at 12, but always had ways of making money, and then it was just I basically quit my job before COVID, which was the worst possible time to quit because then you didn't get like people were getting furlough and paid while they're off, right? But I quit my job to do music full time just before COVID hit.
Right.
I didn't get any of that, but then I haven't worked since then. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I had quit and done music full time before that as well. But then gone back to work. So like the spells. But at the moment, this is full time, and I feel very blessed to do this.
Yeah, man. Brother, I want to get into this. For anyone listening and not watching, I'm holding up a beautiful piece of vinyl. Actually, let me just get this out the thing. So yeah, look, Orange Sunburst. Is that a good way to describe it? Orange Sunburst disc.
Yeah, man.
This is Carasel's Dreams of Paradise. I believe this is your second album.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So
there you go.
Artwork's amazing, by the way.
My first album, Progression.
Yeah. And what year was Progression?
Does it say on there? That'd be handy, wouldn't it? I don't know off the top of my head. I feel like I know that there was like a 10-year gap between the two projects.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So this is 2000. The one I'm holding up here is 2021. So yeah, right. So there was a 10-year gap. That's what I'm interested in.
2011.
So,
yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Okay. So, like I said to you off camera this morning, I don't do research as such for these podcasts. It's not like a formal interview, but what I do is listen to people's music. So I put this on the Technic 1210 this morning, listen to both sides, start to finish. Mate, what an album, man. I mean, of course, I've heard it before. I bought it when it first came out and listened to it then. But yeah, this for me, what you were sort of touched on earlier this is definitely a legacy builder, this album. I feel like some of the things that I was in my head was going to talk to you about almost have been touched on. Well, they definitely have been touched on in some of the tracks on the album, and it was sick. So I was like, oh, okay, that's a perfect little way to get into that topic. But the first thing I wanted to ask you, I mean, look, there's I do appreciate, by the way, this is not a new album, so I don't want to spend like ages dissecting it because for you, I get it probably feels quite old.
Nah,
but I think I want to spend a bit of time on it just for my own personal benefit. But yeah, born and bred, because this ties nicely into what we're talking about moving back to Bristol, even though you were born there, moved away, Worcester, then came back again. Bro, there's some stuff you're talking about on Born and Bred that I would like a little bit of a background, behind the scenes context to, because you're essentially saying that you were getting death threats and like some mad stuff was happening. Like, so can you tell me more about that?
I mean, even on the release of this album, like I had one guy cussing me for using the suspension bridge on the cover because he's like, "You're not from Bristol," and I'm like, "Bro, I was born here. Like, I've spent most of my life here now. I've been here longer than I haven't. Like, and I rep this city and do stuff for this city more than these guys that are saying this kind of slanderous thing have ever done for the city. So I'm Bristol through and through. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So when I first moved to Bristol and I started getting bookings here, there was a few MCs that didn't like it. Do you know what I mean? Bristol guys that felt that the money should be theirs. I remember getting phone calls from a certain MC saying, "You owe me money for every show you've had because that's money you've taken out of my pocket. And when I see you, I'm going to take that money." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever, bro. Like, we'll see. When I see you, I see you." Do you know what I mean? And we saw each other and, bumped heads. We used to... The scene isn't the scene now. What you'll know, it's pretty blessed non-violent place. But when we first started raving, bro, raves used to get CS gassed. I saw somebody get glassed in a room free because he wouldn't give the mic up. Like bottlings, stabbings. Talked about guns the first night we put on. It was a different place.
Yeah.
And also, I think, and I miss it in a way, the hunger to want to be an MC and get the mic and do things was so much rawer and more important to people that, yeah, sometimes it would bubble over on the surface and people would take it very personally and get upset. It was much more, you couldn't just do what you do now and shoot some videos and reels and start getting booked. You had to like come up.
There was an edginess. There was an edginess in the background as well. Yeah,
and there's so many more people wanting to MC that you would have to learn how to protect the microphone. Not just like you'd have to step into a room full and tell MCs, no, you can't come on this set with me. Yeah. What? Do you know what I mean? Like they could be road or whatever, and it would kick off, bro. Like we used to kick off. So it's a different time. It's a different time.
I actually got I got bottled in the head over not giving someone the mic. And do you know the mad thing was? I got thrown out of the club, and then his crew were waiting for me outside, and I got battered outside as well after having just been bottled. And these, I'm not glorifying any of this, by the way. Like I agree in the sense that I've talked about this with other people. I actually quite like the kind of slight edginess in the rave, but not to the degree where I ever want to see, obviously, anyone getting hurt or beaten up or anything like that at all. Not into violence in any way, shape, or form. I've never even thrown a punch in my life. That's me being completely real. But there was a kind of slight edginess that actually used to bring out the best in me as an MC. And I think that's what you're saying, right? You had to step up a little bit. It wasn't all kind of like hugs and kisses and all this rest of it. You had to actually get involved and want to get on the mic.
If you look like a pushover, bro, you are not going to be able to hold down the set. And I think that's where you started to get booked for, because promoters knew you could hold it down. You know, like it's important. Like if you're on set and you're booked for a set and you give the mic away to somebody else, you failed at your job. Even if that guy is like unbelievably aggy and you literally are going to put your life at risk by not giving him the mic, you still can't give him the mic, right?
Bro, I love that you failed at your job. That's sick.
Kind of in the promoter's eyes, right?
Yeah.
Quite often that would be, they wouldn't really understand the deepness. But like, I've had DJs throw me under the bus horribly. Yeah. I've had, and I'm not going to mention who they are, but I've been in a place where some road guys are hassling me for the mic. I've shut them down, and then they've gone to the DJ. Can I MC? And they just go, well, ask him. Or like, they'd never be like no. And like, and on the flip side, I've had people in the scene want to go back to back with me, and the DJ has said, do not let them on the mic. Do not let them.
Yeah.
I've had to be like, no. And then they've asked the DJ, and the DJ said, ask Cara. Like, it's mad. And that's caused me beef with some MCs in the game who have later gone on and said, actually, like, this from the DJ, like, but so.
I think MCs should know better. If you're in this game and you do this, like, you know the unwritten rules, you know the code. You don't ask to go back to back with someone. You don't muscle your way onto a set. If you're not booked, just bubble, just enjoy it, just chat, just get involved. You don't go and say, bruv, can I come back to back with you? Like, even if you're, the more involved you are in the scene, like, the more you should know the rules. I could almost forgive like an up and comer in inverted commas who's maybe lean up and just like gets a bit over enthusiastic. But I've had it as well with people that are established MCs, and they come over and say, can we go back to back? And I just think, why would you do that? To me, it's just a no-go to even ask. What do you think? It's different if you were at a rave and you saw me, it's just as an example, and said, Fokus, come over, man. Like, that's different. That's different.
Yeah, exactly. I think you need to kind of be invited, right?
Yeah, that's totally different. That's cool.
You need to be invited. But it did happen recently, but it happens so much less to be blagged for the
Yeah,
mic.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
that burning that we don't have as many hungry MCs there? Because I'm sure when's the first time you touched the mic? First time I touched the mic was blagging the mic for sure, and that's
Yeah,
important.
that's
Like,
that's
it's
a fair point, but I would say that it wasn't blagging it off another MC. There was just no one on the mic, and there was a mic there, and it's like,
it
oh, okay,
was
maybe I could pick that mic up.
early early Worcester days. We used to like there used to be a night in Hereford called the Lockup. So when we first started, we would roll up there and terrorize their MCs, terrorize them, like get in the DJ booth and we would rip the mic.
Ah, it's karma then, bruv. It's
We were
karma.
back. We were back. That's what used to happen, man. And like, yeah, yeah, it's quite crazy to think like that because that was, that's behavior that I wouldn't like. But we were like 16 and 17
Yeah,
doing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Don't get me. Someone's gonna bait me up now with like me pissed out of my head at some rave, like begging the mic off the MC.
don't blag
Nah,
the
it's not
mic off.
happened.
Don't blag the mic off people. But I like to see hunger. I
Yeah, yeah.
want to see mic blaggers weirdly. Like I
Okay.
want, yeah, I kind of want it. But then I want. We didn't used to blag the mic in main room, big places.
No.
There's not the room fours and the up and coming rooms, and they're the places to maybe try and hustle the mic. I
Yeah, I
don't
hear
know.
you. I hear
The
you.
days the mic are gone, but at the same time, what I'm saying is, I would like to know there's loads of hungry MCs there ready to take your
Yeah.
spot. I
Yeah, yeah,
think
yeah. No, I feel that.
I think the appetite isn't quite there, and I want to see more youngers coming through. I
Hmm.
really do.
Okay. So yeah, born and bred. I mean, everyone like go after the episode. Obviously, go and check out this music. All the stuff that we're referencing. We'll put links to the albums and stuff in the show notes anyway.
Yeah,
But
man, check
go and
it
listen
out.
to Born and Bred because Carasel's breaking it down. Like so interesting to me to hear these real life stories. And I'm not going to go through every track, but also I just wanted to mention about the opening track, Bittersweet Sunset.
Mm,
Amazing track, but there's a bit where you're referencing talking about your son. And
yeah.
I've just written down the line here. Obviously, it's part of this is just one line out of the verse, but put your heartbeat on the vinyl.
Mm.
I was like, wow, okay, like what, literally?
Yeah, you hear it in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I was trying to listen out. I was thinking that's what he means, right? So you
Right, well,
sampled his heartbeat.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I made the album
Amazing.
before he was born. So the recording is when you go for the scans and you can hear the heartbeat, right? So yeah,
That's
that's what it
sick.
was, man. I was like, gonna put you on there forever. Like nobody can ever. That vinyl's always gonna be there. So I immortalized your heartbeat in the vinyl, man. It just felt like a cool thing to do,
And
you
bruv,
know.
that's exactly what we talked about. That is legacy. Imagine your son. Maybe he's already done it. He listens to this music and he's like, "Oh
Yeah,
wow, dad!" Like he's gonna hear that and he's gonna be like, "Wow."
yeah, and I think it's cool. I mean, like, yeah, we went through a difficult time with my son. When he was born, he was very ill. So like, the album, I can't remember if I wrote that track pre his birth, but like the whole journey of making the album was for a crazy time. Like it was a very difficult pregnancy. My wife had lots of miscarriages before she got pregnant. Like we went on a mad journey, and when he was born, he was very sick, and he ended up having to have a liver transplant. So all that was in the process of making the album. So yeah, it was the Dreams of Paradise album was a massive journey and a crazy time of my life. Like a lot of stuff went down. Um, and yeah, I'm real happy that we got to make that in that time to kind of reflect on that because it was a
Yeah,
hard.
I feel just as a listener, that this is like a heart on your sleeve
Yeah.
kind of album. Do you know what I mean? It's got the more braggadocious stuff on there, but
Yeah,
it's pretty reflective and it's very the word is, man. Yeah, it's just real. It's got soul to it as well.
yeah, a lot of it was written because when my son was ill, we stayed 134 days in Birmingham hospital because we
Wow.
didn't leave Birmingham. So like, yeah, I'll just put this out now. If anybody eats at McDonald's, yeah, and they if you give your change, it goes to Ronald McDonald Housing, yeah. Don't do
Yeah, yeah.
that. just do it because they put us up for. I stayed in like special
Really?
housing at the hospital, so always do that. Make sure you do that. Um, yeah, so that was mad. It was in COVID times, so like only we just had a newborn baby, and he got very sick. Um, and only one parent could be in the ward at a time. So
Oh
even though we
man,
just had a newborn baby, it was like if my wife was in there and she rarely would want to leave, I couldn't be in there. So we would
that
only,
is fuck, Chris, isn't it?
yeah, like looking back on it, so how stupid is
That's
that?
fucked up, man.
A
Yeah.
newborn baby to prevent the two parents being together. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, so like a lot of the time I was just outside the hospital, just waiting, seeing if I could help, being in contact, and for a few hours a day, me and my partner would swap out, and that went on for 134 days, and we were in that building. So a lot of the tunes were written in that time. A lot of the lyrics were written in that time, in that space where I just, we were just waiting and worrying and stressing. Not to say that it's like a negative album. Everything is quite like looking at the future, and that's why we called it Dreams of Paradise, because it was all about wanting to be home, wanting that better
Yeah.
time, and thinking about our paradise, which is Bristol, and being at home with our son. So, yeah, man.
I think it's a really positive album. I found it uplifting. There's some there's some moments on here that are really uplifting. I almost want to let me ask you a couple of questions about this. Well, actually, just an observation, like as a music fan and a collector of music as well. What I
Yeah,
love about projects like this, well, obviously, it's completely independent, right? So this is AFT Raps. This
yeah.
is your label,
Mm.
AFT Ambush Family Tree. So
Yeah,
this is
man,
your
me and my
label.
boy Matt Smith, we won the hip hop label. So AFT Records is the drum and bass label, and
Oh,
then
okay.
we had an offshoot which is AFT Raps, and that was the hip hop label and events.
Yeah. Okay. So it's independent, right?
Mm.
We're always going to support that. And then B, just crisp artwork. C, attention to detail. Now, some people might think, what's he on about? Like, but trust me, like stickers,
Mm.
6 or 7 stickers came with this. And I keep this stuff protected with all my albums in like a little plastic bag thing. But look,
Yeah.
this is proper. So you got the Carasel stickers, the AFT
They
stickers. This
they
one,
weren't
come on.
Yeah, they weren't specifically for the album. They're just,
No,
I
but the
just
fact that you bothered to like throw a handful of stickers
I
in
get
there, like
stickers all the time, man. I
I
got
rate that. I rate that.
yeah, I
And
just got
then
this.
yeah, the color vinyl, like we said earlier, this like burnt orange, sunset kind of vinyl, and
Mm,
then you look at the features on there.
mm,
Look at the features, mad. Like, just read out some of the names that are just on this project alone. I know that you've worked with a whole load of other artists as well, but even just looking at this, so we've got tracks produced by Chrissy Chris and Break. Obviously, very well established drum and bass artists, but they produced. This is a whole hip hop album, by the way. Inja's on here. Obviously, your AFT crew, Sonny Jim, Harry Shotter, Navigator, David Boomer, DRS, Rodney P. Do you know what I mean? Dynamite. Um, so when I looked at this morning, I was listening to it. I was thinking, I know you've kind of touched on this a little bit, but as much as you're able to break this down for me, how do you go about getting all these features?
just shout them, man. Just shout them. Like it's love, bruv. It's love. Like you got to shoot your shot, and to be honest, like I think the music talks a lot.
Mm,
I don't think. I mean, it was in COVID times in the main, so like, and I was, dealing with what I was dealing with in the hospital, so none of the tracks were really made. I'm trying to think if any of them I wrote like in the room with anybody. But in more time, I would have done my verses, and then I'm just
okay.
like, they hear the tune, and I always think if somebody sends me a tune and it's pretty much done, I'm instantly vibing off that. I
Yeah.
can hear the concept, I can hear the style. So doing my part is easy. So I think like if you are shooting for a big feature or somebody that you respect loads, you can't just send them a beat. I mean, you maybe can, but send them the tune with the gap there for them to go. And I think it makes it so much easier and gives you such a better chance of getting a feature
Hmm.
because you can really just slot in. I mean, if anybody sends me their track to get a feature off me, if they've done everything, if they've got the hook there already, and I just slot in a 16, yeah, man, light work. And so yeah, I think that is how to do it. Really, make the music
Yeah.
is first. Make a great tune, and then ask them to add to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that. So with if you cast your mind back to the making of this album, we'll talk a bit more about, your artistry as a whole as well. But on the album, did you create a bunch of tracks and then select? There's 13 tracks on here. So did you create a whole load of music and then pick the 13, or what's the kind of thought process behind it as you go into it? Are you thinking I'm going to create an album, or are you thinking I was going to make loads of tracks and then decide what I do with them?
Yeah, I think you make a few tunes, and then you like start thinking a bit bigger than that. I don't know if it was an album from the start, but it was like you record a few bits and it starts to piece together, and then you just know. And it's weird, isn't it? My first album was 10 years ago. I just think I have time. Like in the moment now, I'm not in album mode. I'm not in like I don't get me wrong. I say I need to do more studio stuff. I, I would love to do an album, but at the moment, I just want to like make some heaters again.
Hmm.
I'm not thinking about album right now, but in a time in your life, I know that I'll be like back in album mode. It just happens. It just be like, it feels right. You've got a concept, you've got an idea. It's time to do a long player. It, and I hope I don't leave it 10 years, 10-year gap between my first two albums. Hopefully it's not going to be that long again, but when the time's right, when the pieces fall into place, it might be like you've linked up with a sick engineer, so you're really happy recording, or a producer has sent you like 3 or 4 tunes. I'm trying to think who the main I've got my album here. Who most of the tunes produced by on this? Jose. Yeah, so Jose and Chrissy. So I was doing a lot of
Mm.
shows with Chrissy at the time, and he just had some fire beats. So like I took those beats, and then once you've done 3 or 4 of the same producer's beats, then you think about how you can add to that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
way things go, man. But yeah, I think if I was to do another project or a drum and bass project next to it, I think it makes a lot of sense to work with one producer and
Okay.
do producer albums. I think that could be helpful to the way it's presented and promoted. Um,
I guess it could be really challenging when because especially as well because of the time when it was made, it was very much like sending files back and forth to get
mm,
to make it sound like an album and not a mishmash of different people recording on different mics and different producers in different rooms. It could be quite
yeah,
challenging, but it certainly doesn't sound like that. It sounds like a
yeah. I
really
mean, I
cohesive album.
give massive love and respects to Selector J Man, who's my boy. Basically mixed and helped me mix and record the whole project pretty much. And without him, uh, on my first album was Dr. Mika who took on that role. And without those guys, without a good engineer, without somebody that can oversee and mix it and bring it all together, I don't think I could do an album. I can't do it at home. I'm not the greatest home recording guy. Like I've got a setup in here and stuff, but I would much prefer going in with an engineer anytime. Like I always record my best stuff like that. I want to kind of train myself to be better recording at home because that would be an advantage, right? You don't always have to book into the studio or work to their time. But I know that I'll bang out better tunes when I'm with an engineer. And Selector J Man, super important to this project. Doesn't have a beat on there, but super, super important to bringing it all together and having the patience and recording and getting involved with the vision. Yeah, so big up him.
Yeah, man. Yeah, everyone's got their skill sets, haven't they? And yeah, there's something about being in the studio with like-minded people on the buttons. It just speeds up the process a bit. You can focus on
Super
what you want to
important.
do.
Mm.
Yeah, man. The track you did with Harry Shotter, Jack of All Trades. There's a sample in it. Who's the sample? Is it like someone talking at the beginning? Is it like someone that you know, or is it taken
Oh
from?
yeah, no, that's crazy. Who does a radio show in Bristol, a hip hop
Oh,
show.
okay.
They were
Yeah,
talking
man.
about
So,
tunes, and they kind of said that I was a jack of all trades, and because I do the hip hop and drum and bass, and I just sampled it and just switched it on them,
oh,
you
so
know.
that's actually that's an actual real sample. He didn't record himself saying that.
Radio
Oh,
show.
saying I get ya.
It's a radio
Because
show.
he says on there it's yeah, it's hard being multi-genre.
It was an interview with another guy, and I just came up in conversation. Can't,
Okay,
I can't remember.
interesting.
I can't remember why, but I was locked into the. I watched it, and I came up, and I was like, "Wow!" They just
Yeah,
said.
it had to be
I
had
was
to be
like,
sampled.
so I just came
But
back on it.
it's a great track. It's quite a short track, but I love the essence of it because obviously you and Big Up Shotter, you know, his Odyssey album is an absolute masterpiece in my eyes, and that's another legacy thing that he's created. Very inspiring. So Big Up Shotter. But yeah, this track, you know, you're essentially saying, oh, look, people just go and listen to it after this episode. But yeah, of course, we can MC on drums and D&B and in raves, but we're also rappers in our own right. We you know, we can sit on different tempos, and what I just wanted to ask you is, I'm interested in the fundamental differences to you, or are there differences? Are you two people, or are you one artist? Are you Carasel, drum and bass MC, and Carasel, rap and hip hop artist, or like how do you view it? Do you feel like you have to separate yourself off into different kind of mindsets to do these things differently? And can that become a problem for you, or is it like it's all coming from one source of energy and you just approach it how you approach it? Does that make sense? Like, give me some insights into that.
Yeah, I think I'm just Carousel. You know, I'm me, and this is my album, this is my music. But I have to recognize that my bread and butter and most of my fans are in drum and bass.
Mm.
And doing the live performances, hip hop, you definitely have to attack that differently. The shows are different. The scene is more clicky with hip hop. You
Okay.
know, it's difficult. But I'm the same guy. I'm the same guy, and I keep the same energy in the same ways, no matter where I go. But yeah, the hip hop scene, man, it's just like we're talking about how it used to be with drums. There's maybe more of that over hip hop side. It feels like nobody is so supportive. People don't show as much love. They kind of like it's difficult, man. I don't really know how to describe it, but you know, for example, we do the AFT Raps nights and the AFT Records nights, same venue, what it used to be when we were running them. The difference in like putting people on and booking people is really different. Like in hip hop, people feel like they're kind of owed something, or it's always like they're not happy with where they're billed or where they're playing. Whereas drum and bass is all love. People like really appreciate opportunities, and I would say that's why the scene in hip hop is not as big, maybe because I just feel like people have all got kind of a bit of a chip on their shoulder, or there's a bit of an ego that everybody needs to keep. They need to be like, yeah, it's hard to put my finger on it, but the scenes are fundamentally different, and that's why
Yeah.
currently I'm kind of like leaning to focus. My focus right now is to make more drum and bass tunes because I have to recognize that the hip hop is cool, but when I'm performing the hip hop sets and I do Carousel live, I was always very proud of the live show, but it was always the drum and bass bits that would pop off.
Okay.
I was always fighting for the reactions for my hip hop tunes, which you're never really going to get because they're just different kind of tunes. But then I could tell where the love is mainly.
Mm.
That's why I just think, you know, I have to concentrate my energy where I'm getting the love and support right now in the main. Whereas hip hop, I felt like I'm very, very proud of my projects, but I'm fighting to like
Okay.
push that through on a surface level. Whereas I know that I already have the love and support here, and I feel like more people are backing and they want more of that. I just have to kind of recognize the strength of that as much as I love hip.
Did you get many opportunities, or do you get many opportunities to do your hip hop stuff
Yeah,
out
so
live?
when we had the album, yeah, it was blessed. Boomtown booked us for a really big stage called Botanica. They, you know, they really looked after us, gave me the money I wanted to book some of the guests from the album to come through. They really backed it. So that was a special performance. We did launch parties. Did Carousel live at like Hootenanny. Like we did a little run of shows for sure. Like we definitely toured the album as much as we could. Not as much as I wanted to do a few more headline things. We had plans, but it was just coming off the back of COVID. Like it was a difficult time anyway. So yeah, it was not the easiest. But yeah, the live show was sick. The live show was sick. I was very proud of it. Like the live show for the Progression album was also super sick. And the one for Dreams of Paradise was different. But I enjoyed those times. But both you know, every time we just drew drum and bass at the end, it would just go off. Like people almost waiting for it, and that was
Right.
good and also tough because like you're here presenting all your music, but when I play my drum and bass tunes that I've done at the end of the live Carousel live thing, it was always just I felt like those are the reactions. I kind of it's really difficult doing what we do as MCs, making rooms go off and getting big reactions, a crowd shouting and hands in the air, to then bring it down to a kind of more laid back performance level of all your own music and try and I feel like I'm constantly kind of hunting for it to go off like in a drum and bass way, so it's difficult to kind of adjust your mentality to it.
Okay.
I think I just crave rooms going crazy. I think like I kind of need it. Like, it's weird.
Yeah. But look, I'm guessing here because I, only you can tell me really. But I'm guessing that in some respects, the level of fulfillment when you're performing a body of work like this album
It's
is
special.
higher because it's a bit more meaningful to you.
It's
But
special.
you're not getting the crowd reactions that you just described, like when you do the drum and bass. So
Yeah, when it's
that
all your
sounds
own
like it could be quite challenging.
Yeah. I mean, it's my fault. I didn't have to put drum and bass sections in there. Do you know what I mean? I didn't have to do that. And it would have still been great shows. I mean, I love doing those sets. It's a lot more pressure. You have to remember every single bar, and it feels like you're doing so much more rapping than you would in a hosting set. Like making sure, if you forget your bars or whatever, then it's an issue on when you're performing 20 of your own tracks. Like, so yeah, it's definitely more challenging. Probably more stressful. Like I never get nervous before doing a drum and bass set. Never. Like I just get excited. I love it. With the hip hop stuff, I think you do because you have to be on point. You have to be on point. Like you can't forget those tunes, and you would, and you keep it moving. But yeah, there's just a lot more pressure with it. Now talking about it, I kind of like, oh man, the pressure was good, man. Do you know what I mean? It was cool, but I just felt like after that album, I'm like, okay, well now I'm gonna really focus on drum and bass for a while, and that's when we did the Thorn on Road EP, and for all the other stuff I'm cooking at the moment, I'm not really cooking hip hop. I probably will again at some point.
But this is the beauty of it, man. You can do whatever you want to do. You've got all the tools in the kit. Take it where you want to take it. Obviously, your versatility to the nth degree. But no, it's interesting what you're saying about the difference between doing a rap set, performing a set of tracks compared to like doing a 2-hour hosting. I had a guest on recently. Well, the episode's not come out yet, but he works in the world of sort of trap music, and he spun it round and asked me a bit about what it's like to turn up and do maybe a 2 or even like a 3-hour set sometimes, and contrasting that to like some of his shows are maybe like 20 minutes long, and the set list is already locked in. Sometimes he was telling me it doesn't always have a DJ. The sound engineer might just be pressing play on the tracks for him.
We book some big hip hop acts, and quite often our resident DJ will have to play for them, and that's
And what a contrast!
It's
And
insane.
it's almost like he couldn't get his head round like doing what you do a 3-hour set with 3 different DJs. You've got no idea what they're going to play, Yeah, that's just kind of how it happens sometimes, not all the time. And it's so
It's
interesting to me, like
insane,
these
isn't it?
different.
Standing on stage for 3 hours is a crazy thing. I mean, I don't
It's
tend to do them so much anymore,
nah, it's too
but
long, man. It's too long. It's too
it
long.
is too long. But I have to pay respects because as when I first started getting booked for hospital records, and they would book you for 3 hours, and you used to be like 3 hours, like this is crazy. But it has made me. I'm very grateful for those times because it's made me such a better host. Like to be put in a different country for 3 hours, or even over here, they used to do it sometimes. It's difficult, it's challenging. Like, I never ever want to repeat myself. So, like, you have to have more lyrics, you have to space them out, you have to pace yourself. It doesn't happen much anymore. Like, I don't do those long shifts, but I see other MCs are having to do them, but that's all part of the journey, right? And
Yeah,
I am very grateful that they used to do that for me, even though even at the time it felt too long. Do you know what I mean? Because it made me a much better MC. So I'd say that to Tony Coleman and the guys at hospital all the time, that they really made me a better MC for those long shifts. You
yeah,
know.
yeah. It's earning your stripes, isn't it, to a degree?
Mm.
But the the flip side of it is, I can't help but think that as I've got older and wiser, arguably, that they're just some promoters are just trying to save money and just try and rinse you.
And they should also recognize that it's not good to do when you do those long stretches. Like, each DJ brings a new flavor, and a new voice should potentially come with that, because otherwise those two sets are going to merge, even though they're different, because you've got the same. You got
Yep.
It's not fair on the MC, and it's not necessarily fair on the DJ, because you're continuing the vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Oh, and the crowd, the ravers as well.
yeah, they need to freshen up. They need to freshen up, which is why if I don't do them that often anymore, but if I do long sets, I'll quite often rather have a break in between, because I can come back on fresh. You know,
Okay.
like, I'd rather be there for long. I'd rather do an hour, not MC for an hour, and then come back on, because I'll come back on and smash it, same energy then. But when you're doing a 2 hour or whatever, then you have to spread that. You have to ease it in.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. No, I hear
possible.
you, man.
I'd rather split the sets all day long.
I see. Yeah, it's interesting you say that. That's almost my pet hate, and it's almost a caveat with all promoters. Like, if you want me to do a long set, a non-negotiable is no gaps in between, because I find
Yeah,
it kills the vibe. I find it quite challenging to
you don't like
get into the
gaps.
zone. Get into the zone. You start getting into your flow. Come off, stand around for an hour, and then come back on and have to build it again.
Yeah,
That's how almost I kind of view it, and I find it quite
and I
challenging.
think
So I've just started
talking
saying
about
no.
Dinah's the same. Dinah doesn't like to have gaps, and I'm sure a lot of other MCs feel the same way. Uh, but me personally, yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
I'm really like, I'm sure the crowd couldn't care less, but I've always been in my head that I don't want to say the same lyric twice. I don't
yeah,
repeat
yeah,
myself. So obviously, if you're doing a long set, you can't do that. If I come have a break, come back on, then I'll do this. I can repeat myself quite happily. Do you know what I mean? I'll just roll out again. It's a fresh start, same energy, bang, bang, bang. Like, we'll
yeah.
take it up.
Revitalized. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
Makes sense,
this
man.
me personally, really.
One thing I've always been keen to find out more. Actually, now I've got you sitting in front of me, I can ask you. Sweeper. What's the sweeper thing about?
It's just something I used to say on a big drop, man. Just like, if a tune dropped, I was just be like, sweeper. I don't really know why it started, but it's just stuck with me, and people like it. And like, I think you can see in the reflection of this thing behind me, I've got like a piece of art that says sweeper there. Like, I don't know
Okay,
if you see it there, just, but it's like, yeah, some old posters, something my missus put together. But yeah, it's like, it's
sick.
a piece of art that says sweeper. So I don't really know. And then yeah, we made a new label called Sweeper Team to
Yeah, yeah.
to branch off the album as well. So yeah,
So
man.
what music comes out on Sweeper Team then? The label.
Nothing,
What does that represent?
nothing has it. it was somewhere that, yeah, without going too deep on it, it was because the Dreams of Paradise was massively self-funded, and
Mhm.
which I took it away from. It's still on AFT Raps, but it's also on Sweeper Team because it's been distributed by myself, and it keeps all the finances separate. It's just like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Okay.
when you have your own project, you might want to invest in it a lot more than somebody else. It's your baby, right?
Sure.
So I'm not signed to another label. So yeah, I just set up a new offshoot, and we also released some of the drum and bass remixes that came from the album on Sweeper Team. But
Okay.
since kind of been, yeah, waiting for the next move. But it's there. It's a different platform that could be used potentially in the
Sick.
future.
Yeah, I love this, man. I love all the different bits and pieces you've got going on, and aesthetically, it all looks crisp. It's all like on point, branded, and you've been on that for a while, haven't you? Like with the Carousel logos, and we talked about
Yeah,
stickers and
I've had my
merch and
logo for
stuff.
a long time, but yeah, do you know what, bro? Like stickers and stuff. I just get a lot of ravers come and talk. Like whenever I'm in the rave, they always want to come and say hello, and I always just thought it was cool to slap something in their hand. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that helped, man. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, yeah. I
So
want to
bring
just got these new ones now. It's the Double Dragons.
easy. Come on.
If anybody wants to buy that album, we got like honestly, that vinyl's nearly sold out. If anybody wants one, holla. We'll send you some new stickers as well, bro. Just yeah, give
Sick,
me a shout.
sick. So okay, couple. Like, wow, 2 hours, bro. I'm talking for 2 hours already. It goes so quick sometimes.
Yeah,
Couple of other
man.
things I want to touch on. Um, bit of an offshoot. It's kind of away from music, but Air Max. Obviously, anyone watching this can see in the background you got some Air Max on display.
Mm.
How deep is the Air Max thing for you?
Yeah. That's one of the 90s, bro. That's me. Yeah, I've basically got a hit list that I'm just working through. Do you know what I mean, like Most Wanted. I've got issues with, bro. Really, like I've got a lot. This wall's full. I've got a wall here that you can't see. That it's just shoe boxes. So yeah, I'm mad into it. I've actually kind of got into like selling a lot of old pairs as well and buying new pairs. Like kind of that's quite a recent thing. I've probably sold about 20 pairs of kicks in the last year. So
Wow.
I've kind of started like moving them on, being very surprised at people that want to buy. I've never bought a hand pair of shoes personally, but there's a big appetite for it. So like I've started selling old kicks, buying all the kicks I want to a point where like I've had to. I'm sure my missus won't watch this, but I've had to start getting kicks delivered to different addresses and shit because she's like, stop buying so many kicks. So yeah, my Air Max One game is crazy. I have a lot of them.
Are you sorry? Did you say this? Are you strictly Air Max 90 and Air
Yeah,
Max
yeah, I don't
ones,
really
or
like. I got married in a pair of Jordans, but
did you?
yeah, yeah, that's how we roll. But yeah, that's me, bro. I don't really
You're
go
not on the
much.
95s?
No, no, I
Nah,
have. I,
TNs.
no, it's never been me.
Nah,
I've
Karachi.
had them, just never. Yeah, right now, I am as ones,
Come on.
all of them.
Yeah, I rate that. I rate that. So bring us up to speed a bit. You know, music wise, we talked about Born on Road a little bit. It's come up in conversation. Obviously, work closely with them.
Yeah.
What do you feel? What's on the menu at the moment, or moving into like the new year, 2026? Where are you taking things? What are you up to?
Yeah, man. So it's an interesting time at the moment. Born on Road guys are killing it. And it's always I love performing with them, man. The energy's great, and they're my brothers. At the end of the day, that we're friends. Uh, ever since they brought me in, they did the big sound clash that Fabian Groove Rider put on at Printworks. That was the first time I kind of linked up with them. So they brought me in to host that, and from then, you know, I've always been in awe of how deep they go in on the dub plates. Do you know what I mean? These guys are really investing, you know, those dubs, they really spend a lot of money on them and getting them patterned, and I love all of that. Do you know what I mean? Like for some culture, they're really deep in it, and they really invest in what they play. And now they're moving on to making their own music, which is all sounding great. And I love being the front man for it, to present it. Like I just, yeah, every time we're together, it's just a vibe, and we've done some really special things. And I've been part of different collectives, and you know, I've had DJs that I work with quite regularly, which has always been great. But this is, you know, probably the first time where I thought, you know, we're really good friends as well. So it's really nice to be part of that. So that's sick. And yeah, more shows with them, another EP for Born on Road, and just generally lots more music. And I don't want to go too deep in the concepts of the music that I want to do, because I don't want anyone to either snake it and do the same thing, or just don't want to talk too much about the stuff I'm thinking about, because I think a lot about stuff and I want it to come into fruition. I don't like to chat too much and then not deliver, you know, like
yeah, man. No, 100%.
But I'm cooking. I'm very focused on studio stuff right now, and the producers that I want to work with. So I'm just trying to pattern that up and make it work. Cool. I've got a few things that is going to be coming soon with people that I've wanted to work with for a long time. So it's exciting.
Give me some standout moments, or one standout moment with your time at Born on Road from like the last 12 months maybe, or, you know, recent.
Soundclash is what kicked it all off. That was really cool. You know, I swear to this day we won that thing. Who
were you clashing?
We were clashing Shadow Demon Coalition. We were clashing, I think they called themselves Jungle Warriors, and that was like Kenny, Ken, and Potential Bad Boy, and I can't remember who else was on there. Definitely the Ragga Twins. I can't really remember, man, who everybody that was on that team, but they won.
Okay.
And the other team was Dubshotter with Benny Page and we had Serial Killers, Benny Page, and all of those guys basically. So it was cool, man. It was really cool. We had a lot of specials, but the saddest thing about that clash is it was so epic. It was at Printworks, but it wasn't recorded, man. And like,
no,
it wasn't recorded, and we all spent so much money on dubs clashing each other, but every time one of the acts finished, the crews would go backstage. So there was a lot of dubs played, probably aimed at us. We definitely had it in the other sounds, but we never even heard them. Do you know what I mean? That's what's crazy to me, that we all invested so heavy. Yeah. And those moments, the crowd did. If the crowd would be on the floor for the whole team, they heard it all. But I always think on reflection, what a shame. I think if it was recorded out, it would have been one of those epic drum and bass moments, like the Red Bull culture clashes. Because it was
man.
All night.
Well, especially because a lot of that stuff, like, it's just inevitably certain bits will go over people's heads, like in the nature of how the rave is.
I recorded like 3 plates, like cussing everyone and doing all
Come on, man. I love all that sound, boy. Yeah, that's sick.
Oh yeah, it was just pure fun. Like, I love everybody, but it's just a shame they never got heard, right?
What other artists would the Born on Road lot getting dubs from?
Well, I think that's what we got the like Afterglow dub made for, and you know, shit, we had loads, man.
For real, so just hitting up Becky Hill and
yeah, man.
Yeah, is that how it? How does it work? Like, is it just do you have to go through management and stuff like that? Is it really official, or can you do like a little backdoor one? I'm interested.
It all depends on the individual. I think a lot of the
links and
management, but if we know them, we know them. When you kind of, I think a lot of the Jamaican guys, they do this for fun anyway, so it's very like active. Okay. They all make.
So what Jamaican artists were they getting specials from? You think of any?
Beanie Man. I think they got okay. Yeah, I like proper. Yeah, Vibes Cartel. Yeah. Haven't got a cartel, but he was in jail, so I don't know.
Okay, well, you say he was in jail, but didn't he make about 3 different albums in jail, which all sound like really good?
Yeah, no, he was super active, but yeah, I
On
don't
a
really.
phone, apparently. I heard him talking about it. He said he made it all on an iPhone. I just can't believe how that happened because it sounds crisp.
Yeah, he was definitely making tunes. I don't know if he was cutting dubs, but yeah, I think they were a bit more accessible, but they would definitely
Okay.
charge the money. Um, so yeah, I mean, you speak to the guys about that because each dub
I'd love to
tells
hear
a story, I'm
how
sure.
they get hold of some of obviously like the Jamaican artists have always done. I remember back in the day, like Logan Sama had like Vibes Cartel dubs and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
obviously a way to
sure.
make it happen.
I know they really want to pattern a trip to Jamaica to really go out there and get fully involved and spend a couple of weeks like really tapping into the culture and like cutting some stuff
Yeah.
with the arts
Did
over
they
there.
what about UK artists? Did they get anything from like Ira, Rico, or Killer P, any of them lot?
Yeah, all of them, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've got a Call of dub, but they've definitely got Ira. Yeah, they got heaps, bro.
Ira really interests me. Have you ever met him? Do you know him?
No, I don't. I've met him, but not like
Yeah,
personally.
he really interests me. Yeah, what an exciting UK voice.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Just
Yeah, man, and doing
find it very intriguing.
behind the scene. Yeah, not really for me to talk about, but I think you might be seeing a bit more of them.
Okay.
From a collective point of view, I know
Mm,
they're forming a bit of a collective. So,
yeah,
yeah,
man.
man, absolutely. We do. This is what I mean. We talk about MCs kind of falling off a little bit in terms of live rave, but we are definitely hearing voices and
Yeah.
tracks, and people are still coming through, aren't they? Everybody can do whatever, and you don't have to make tunes. But I
Yeah.
would just
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
it. I would put it to any MC or up and coming. I'm like, when you're not here anymore, or
Hmm.
even when you are here, don't you want to create something that can't be taken away from you? Like, don't you want to expand your artistry to trying to do something like that?
Yeah.
And I find it surprising that some don't want to, and it's usually the MCs that don't have many bars. Do you know what I mean? Because
Oh, it makes sense.
yeah, like, but then I always think eh, the MCs that don't have a lot of bars, like, do you really love this? Like, do you really like being up on stage and not having anything new to offer or any depth? Like, I don't, it doesn't, my brain doesn't compute with it.
Mm.
Like,
But yeah, but not everyone. I genuinely do believe not everyone wants to spit. Not everyone
mm,
wants to spit. And so, they're happy to connect with the music in a different way. Still be that
and
conductor, that
not everyone
conduit.
writes. Not everyone writes. People have a different style, and they're
Yeah.
like, man, like each to their own. And I respect everybody. And like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you probably take somebody like GQ. You couldn't. He's done quite a few tunes, but he hasn't got an album, so to speak. But his legacy is maybe not needed by albums and tunes because he's not
Mm.
many classic tapes and tape back.
Yeah.
And he is the iconic voice of drum and bass that has been there since the day of dawn. So maybe he's like, he can't really be included in that conversation because you can't.
Nah, that's it. I think he's separate to that conversation.
Yeah, it really is. Um, yeah, big up GQ.
Big up GQ every time, the Godfather. All right, bruv. Let's move towards wrapping this up. So one thing that I always ask all of my guests, this is the only question that everyone gets asked. Okay, the one that's set in stone, and it's the ultimate MC cipher, and it's one of those annoying kind of put you on the spot questions.
Mm.
You can pick five MCs, let's say slash artists, five MCs from the past, from the present, dead or alive, any genre, any style. But these are the five people you want to get in a room and hear just going in a cypher scenario over whatever beats. Who are you picking?
It's difficult, man. So, so in my head, I've got, okay, we're gonna have a drum and bass cipher because it's where the vibes and energy is, and I love hip hop. So if I think, okay, what music am I going to go for? If I had to choose one, because I'm going to die. So we're having a last ever cypher. What music do I want to listen to? I probably want to have a rave. So if it's the last set I ever listened to, because this is the only way my brain can compute, because I love so many MCs, I'm like,
I like this. I like this.
have to force me into this last little buzz. I'm probably gonna pick Hyper D because I never got to see him live, and he's incredible. Like, sings, raps, he's all-rounded, incredible MC. So I'm definitely gonna have Hyper there. I think I need a voice like Flo Dan. I think I need a big Shelly voice like that. I need that from somewhere.
Yeah,
I think
man.
I'm gonna be greedy and have the twins. So we have
Okay.
two, because I want that ragga flow, and like, they're amazing. But they're amazing on their own. Like, they don't really need to be in a cypher. They're in a cypher on their own, but fuck it, I'm gonna have them anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
I gotta have Spider. Gotta have
Yeah.
Gotta have Tarantula. I'm only allowed 5, yeah.
Yeah. Technically, you're going to end up with 6 anyway.
Oh yeah, no, twins.
Yeah, but you got one more. You got one more.
See, you really would think that I would dip into some hip hop artist, but I don't think I want that necessarily as if I'm going out. I think I just want to have a rave with the man them. Uh, the last one is hard because you just think, like, I could say Skibber,
Mm-hmm.
then I have to leave everybody else out. You know what I mean? So it's difficult. It's difficult. Can I just say that I jump in the cypher with them, and then I'm blessed, and
Yeah,
then
man. Bruv,
you know,
you can
I'm
say whatever
jumping
you want.
with the man them, and then I'm signing out, and that's me. Respect for
Yeah,
all the
bruv.
other I love, and there's so many of them, man. Like, yeah, I could have named like so many American ones, so many.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I thought there was going to be a big pun in there.
I love Punisher, man. I got that. Punisher's here
Yeah,
with me,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
But yeah, he would body a drum bass set. He really would. I mean, yeah. To be honest, it might have been a different answer for me if I'd prepped that. You know, if I'd known it was coming, I would have done a bit of prep and thought about that a bit more. But I just love, man. We're in a scene where you have MCs that can sing, that have like the ragga flows, like the twins, and we have like proper rappers like Evil, and you know, got incredible people that can do it all, like DRS. We got SP that breaks it down more technically. Bro, we got so much diversity in our vocalists in drum and bass, and it needs to be celebrated because it's
Yeah,
just
man.
incredible. And it's what made me fall in love with it. And we need to keep these interesting, exciting voices coming through
Yeah.
and celebrated, which is what you're doing with this podcast. You know what I mean? You're shining some light on it, so you're playing your part for sure.
No, big up, bruv. Yeah, love that. Thank you for saying that. And I agree. I held that up all the time. The way you just broke it down, then I'm thinking, yeah, wow, this
Yeah,
we're representing here, as in the
we
D&B
we are,
guys
yeah,
are repping.
yeah, we are, man. Like, there's no the double time guys as well. You know, there's no barriers to different styles that could come through. We've got a bit of everything, and that's what drum bass is anyway. For the samples that we mash up soul and hip hop and breaks and reggae, and that's represented in the vocalists as well. And it needs to keep
Mm.
going that way. You know, we need to really have all different cultures represented, which is another worry that it might get a bit whitewashed as it gets to these bigger stages and MCs get pushed out, because you know, we need all colours, races, everything represented. That's what we need
Yeah,
here.
man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's not going to happen while we're about, bruv. So,
Well, do you know what I mean?
Fighting the good fight, yeah.
We have to, and I have a little a seed as to how I want to help with that as well, which I won't talk too much on now, but maybe we'll chop it up about it in the future because it's kind of
Yeah.
in the background. I'm trying to do it in the right way. But
Okay.
it's always been important with the events that I put on in the past that we always give people opportunities. So I am trying to find my own way right now to set up opportunities for others. So that's what I'm
Okay.
working.
Sick. Yeah, bruv. Mate, really, really, really appreciate you making the time to come and speak to me for a couple of hours. It's been sick. And we could continue, but I feel like reached the natural conclusion for now.
Yeah, we could definitely continue, but I don't know how many people will watch it past the 2 hour mark. If you stuck with us this long, big love, man.
Yeah, man.
Because this is just two people that really care about this, just chopping it up, man. So like, yeah, if you really locked in and tapped in, um, bless up. And any MCs that need any help or advice, you can always shout me because we need more people like you if you're watching to push this scene forward collectively. We can do it. So like my inbox is always open, and yeah, collaborate, push forward, and keep writing some bars to take off people's head top. Keep going.
What's the best way for people to reach you?
Instagram probably, man. Drop me a
Yeah,
message.
what's your Instagram?
Carasel MC. But
Well,
yeah, and the same on TikTok and all that, which I'm trying to push a little bit more. So yeah, just
mhm.
just get me, man. I'm accessible.
Yeah, man.
Uh, so just holler.
Wicked. Well, I'll put all that stuff in the show notes anyway. So listen, we've talked about you as an artist and your story. I think it's only right that we sign out by hearing you spit something a cappella.
Mm,
You want it?
okay. Yeah, man. Let's go. I went to see Alchemist and Premiere last night to Academy, and I was like, do you think that all those amazing MCs they work with back down from spitting some bars on a podcast? Absolutely.
That's it, bruv. Yes, I like that mentality. Right, I'm going to shut up for a second. Over to you.
Yeah, I spit hollow point shells, expand on impact, push your wig back. I spit flames and they wreck tracks. MCs get bitch slapped. I'm really not hyping. I'm bored of MCs getting work when they're not writing. They call me Carousel and I take time in my rhyming. Certain cats get booked as kissing and biting. I'm exciting. When I hit the stage, I start vibesing. You can see me in the corner of the club, new flow writing. My bars shut down the raves like pepper spray. The bars spray. I could kill the dance in 100 ways. I wish my idols could see what I do to some fucking raves. The crowd go crazy when they hype up and they pitch chase. It's the Southwest best spitter, aka Bristol's original wig splitter. Straight out the sewer like Splinter, and MCs want to block my path because they're bitter. I like to let the track simmer. Got the keys to the bimmer. Watch the bodywork shimmer. Your man are just beginners. You ain't got what it takes to be winners. I'm a boss like Stringer, Bell. I spit acapella and drink liquor. Lyrical Jack the Ripper. Pay respects to the greats like Hyper D and Skibber. Or Bassman and Trigger. Inspirational MCs that always deliver. Stop chatting breeze on your Twitter. Carousel and Focus, the head top splitters.
Yes, bruv. Come on, man. Shh. I didn't think you were going to stop. Wow, that was sick, bruv. That was sick. I was in that. I was vibing to that. That was sick.
Cool,
Come
bruv.
on. Yeah, man. You're not messing about, are you? That's what we're talking
bruv.
about, people. So yeah, go and check out all the music that we've referenced. Go and check it out. Links are there. If you've been watching this on YouTube, you can listen on Spotify and Apple and vice versa. And remember, say this every episode, I want to hear your Ultimate MC ciphers as well. So at Mike Minded People on Instagram, feels a bit old school saying this now, but hello at mikemindedpeople.com if you're on an email tip. Send me your Ultimate MC ciphers and I'll big you up and I'll read them out on the forthcoming episodes. But yo, in the meantime, you've been locked into Mike Minded People with man like Carasel. What an episode, man. Bruv, big up. Thank you so much.
Yeah, mate. Big up. Bless up, man. Keep doing your thing.
Big up, man. Speak soon.